Knuckle grip in the neon light, trading pain in the heart of the fight. Shifting gears till the edge feels right. Start 'em up, hear the engines cry. Let the thunder roll, leave no doubt. All or nothing when the checkers come out. Doors beating doors in an all-out fight. This is a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Wednesday night! Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Every track has a story to tell. Every wall has been one driver's hell. Back in the saddle we go. Ring the bell like a moonshiner. We're riding on rails. Checkers all records. Send it in, set sail. Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. This is 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 a Moonshiners Wednesday night.
The GMD Janitorial Cup Series will see Victor Fluger take the Matt Liveries 300 at Daytona, his first career win in the Moonshiners Racing League. Worked up the track as Matthews. Chris Davis jumps to the inside. Davis cuts underneath. They wreck behind as Davis wins at Echo Park. eSports GMD Janitorial Cup Series win. Cup Dakota. What a race. What a comeback. Bowie gets it done here at Coda. Bowie comes out of the final corner. Brandon Bowie back to back. He gets it done at Phoenix. Alex Murray has had to fight so many times for opportunities to break through the victory lane this season. He'll get one in Las Vegas. It's Murray in Vegas.
Adversity goes by the wayside. It'll be back-to-back victories for the rookie for Dega eSports, and now he avenges his teammate Alex Murray wins at Darlington.
Again, it's Bowie to victory lane. It's his third win in MRL this season. Checker flag, the off-axis paint 300 goes to Matt Cox. It's going to be Nico Garcia. He's your boy who goes to victory lane at Kansas. Tonight, the Moonshiners Racing League makes its way over to a racetrack that's known for intense speed. Tonight, the GMD Janitorial Cup Series gets all set to go Superspeedway racing as it's the Icon Apparel 300 from Talladega Superspeedway here on iRacing. Tonight's coverage here on Precision Entertainment about to get underway. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside the booth for tonight is Jeremy Miller. We also be joined by Zach Case down on pit road. We'll see him amongst those drivers and hearing the communications. Cameras by Bill Whitlock, Simcams for producer Ryan Bauer this evening as we're just about ready to go to begin counting down to green from Talladega. We're just 3 weeks away from the All-Star race, Jeremy, and right now, things are looking firm for many of these drivers. We are running a gauntlet of races, mind you, from here on out. Mind you do the math. We don't have an off week all the way until August. These drivers are going to have to work week in, week out to be prepared at each of these racetracks.
Yes, we definitely are. And, you know, we're starting to settle into the season, Justin. We're going to start to see less movement throughout those standings. A lot of guys running more consistent where they are. And the points are going to start to become more and more valuable as we move on. And a track like Talladega is a prime example of a place where you can really put yourself in a bad spot with a bad day and capitalize on a really good points day for some drivers, too.
There's a lot going on to the point standings, especially when 3 win stickers are against the name Brandon Bowie already coming into tonight. But Alex Murray in second. One of the drivers to keep an eye on is not in these point standings so far. Nico Garcia, who picked up the win last week, not amongst those in the top 20 from his attendance so far. But some of the drivers over the course of this championship fight are in a razor-thin margin so far if they want to make the Impact Sim Designs chase. Right now, some of your top drivers within just 2 points of that elusive cut line. And right now, a lot of drivers like William Owens, Nigel Christensen, many others are just saying, what can we do to stay consistently up at the front?
Yeah, and there's not going to be a lot you can do to stay consistently up in the front, specifically in this race tonight as we take a look at our track, and that will be the reason that is not going to be the case, Justin. Big 2.66 mile oval, but look at the degrees of banking. 33 degrees in that corner, going to be wide open. It's going to be a draft race, and those cars will be moving up and down all night long, trying to be in the right spot at the end.
It's going to be very interesting. Of course, the infield, you can't really go to it virtually, but to say the very least, a lot of couches are known to be left here. People, for some reason, buy couches, leave the couches, and just act like they don't own a couch afterwards. So, at the very least, we'll find out who's able to make the way to virtual victory lane tonight. It was expected to be a wild one, once again, from Dega across its 33 degrees of banking and expecting 3 wide racing. Drivers are just about all set to go. Let's take a look at your Victory Designs pole award tonight. Your pole award, we'll see these drivers sort out like this. Paul Gallimore is the one with it. He set a time of 53.189 tonight. Chris Davis was 26 1/1000ths off in second. Kyle Holden will start at third tonight with Mark Sanchez amongst those in the top 4. Then Trevor Ashwarnoff will be there in the top 5. Warnoff will be alongside Nick King, who had some good speed last week and some big saves. Jose Medina will start in 7th tonight with Kenny Reel down the 8th position. And rounding your top 10 starting spots, Chris Vincent, Brandon Fetterplace will start alongside Jeremy.
Yeah, we got Timothy Harper rounding out the beginning the first cars that have missed the top 10. Matt Mackin going to be joining him in the 1 there in 12th. All in all, 13th tonight's going to be Matt Cox. He's a familiar face up front as always, and so is Alex Coffey on his outside in 14th. Not the best Q efforts for them. William Owens is going to roll off 15th in the 30, and Cody Eagles is going to roll off 16th in the 16. Barry Sanders, the league owner, going to roll off 17th, next to Corey Moore in 18th. And rounding out the top 20 is Brandon Bowie, our points leader, and Sean Rogers in the 44.
21st goes the way of Nigel Christensen, the race winner from last spring. Alex Murray will be next to him on the starting grid. They were 2/10 off the pole time. Braden Donaldson will also stay grouped up with Johnny Shade. A lot of dig cards actually right next to each other here. Chris Cornett will start down 25th tonight. Blaine Wilson, 26th. Another dig entry. Then Jim Treat will start 27th. Oshield will start in 28th. Greg Carr was the last driver to take a time tonight. We had 5 who didn't set qualifying laps. Aaron Matthews, Hunter Carmichael, Ryan Catalano, Darren Mills and Matt Metler. Your yellow penalties coming into tonight go the way of Catalano. You see your track conditions on screen right now, by the way. 102 degrees, pretty hot to start the track temperature, Jeremy. Not the biggest talking point normally, though, when it comes to Talladega. We'll have to see how things go out. And mind you, that wind is pretty low coming in.
Yeah, I actually think that track time could play a pretty decent role in this one. With the way the arrows change on these cars, I don't think you'll see anything in the first two stages with such short runs, but we'll get some good laps on those tires in the final stage, and the rear ends can just come out a little bit on you on entry, so the hotter track like that is more prone to somebody making a mistake, and we'll see if anybody falls into that trap.
Absolutely, with 25, 25, 63 those lengths, we expect one green flag stop at the very least amongst the field tonight. So, these drivers will run the 300 miles looking to try and figure out who's going to be at the top of the board. Now, as we continue on the preparation for Stage 1, brought to you by Collegiate Football Simulation League, the top collegiate simulation league. Create your legacy by visiting collegesimleague.com today. The drivers themselves, though, are getting set for pace laps here, Zach. Let's set that down to you, because I hear you've had some wild times here so far.
Well, we know the party's a little crazy here at Talladega, and last night I sent it out on the boulevard and hung out with a few drivers. Was able to see Chris Cornett down there, saw the boss man Barry Sanders, but now it's time to put your money where your mouth is, and we're gonna see who can really win this race after 300 miles. 25 laps the first stage, 25 laps the second stage, and it's 113 the rest, or it's the remainder of the race the rest of the way. So we'll see what the boys can do. If I'm riding around 10th place though, I'm gonna try to get stage points. If I'm farther in the back, I'm going to see if maybe I can flip the stage, get points there in the second stage, but really it's going to come down to fuel mileage, and it's going to come down to how can you take care of your car here tonight.
Absolutely, and these drivers will have a flurry of battles to work with here tonight as we get all set to go for the festivities. Jeremy, what are your keys to victory when it comes to running at Talladega? I know you've ran fairly well in superspeedways in the past.
Yeah, it's just could do what I would do, Justin. It's run up front all night. The more you run up front, the better you're going to be at running up front. People act like this place takes no skill, and Daytona take no skill, and I just think it could have been fair running the troop. It's different than driving everywhere else, but there's a reason the same names are up front every time at these tracks. I say it every time, and it consistently withholds itself as the truth, and I think we'll see more of that tonight. There are good plate racers, and what they do is they race more aggressively and more consistently up front.
In turn, who do you think is going to be the favorite to try and win this race tonight?
Yeah, there's obviously the teammate factor there as well, right? So I think we'll see, we've seen pretty consistently in this league, in my opinion, the BMP guys work really good together. Gallimore's on the pole, not really cherry picking that because he's on the pole, because we know it doesn't really matter here. I think that guy is due to win a race, Justin. Tonight's the night.
Going to be an interesting one to say the very least. And Zach, what else would you like to add in terms of the conversation point as we have one more pace lap and then they'll let them rip?
I mean, whenever I hop in the car here at plate racing, I just know that I got to take care of my teammates, right? And I think we talked about that a little bit here in the opening pace laps, but I think overall, if you can take care of your teammates and hang with them and get the runs and get the momentum when you can, that's going to be the biggest thing, right? Pitting together is going to be important under green flag conditions, right? Making sure you're on the same strategy as your teammates and just keeping your car clean like we talked about earlier. Calling out the movements, right, in the lanes. If you're Paul Gallimore at the front, right, you're hoping you have teammates behind you or in that area calling out those runs, right? Go to the top, right? Run the middle, run the bottom. Here comes the shove, right? That's going to be the biggest factor here tonight. It's the communication up on the pit box in between these guys.
We're about to see how things fare out tonight here in regards to erection. The Icon Apparel 300, just less than moments away from the start of tonight's action. One driver will start from pit road. Chris Cornett did not make it to the grid in time. Will have to roll out of the pit lane. It will be at least a quarter to half a track back by the time he hits the racetrack and be in trouble. You can see some of the Vandalay stickers cameras, by the way. Different mindsets as we work through the pace laps here. One driver keeping calm, other making sure the beverages stay liquid libation. Happy with us for tonight's coverage of the GMD Janitorial Cup Series. It's time to head to the Vandalay sticker start zone. we're all set to get ready for stage number 1 of the Icon Apparel 300. Green flag is out. We're underway from Alabama.
Some strong early development there on the outside lane. Only the front two really hooked up there on the bottom. We'll see what that does rolling into turn 1. But quickly, as I say about the inside line, forms up really well, and they're going to roll out of turn 2.
Inside line definitely gets itself going by at least 3 cars. Will we see that roll up to the outside, though, down the back? Not quite. In fact, we see at least 1 or 2 drivers move back as we're not moving up to the top of the racetrack to try and battle it out for the race lead. Matt Metler just indicated he's going to have to pit this time by as well, by the way. So a few drivers to the back, a few on the brakes. Mark Sanchez just slammed the brakes and dropped all the way to the tail and brought several with them. All well, it's Astronaut up in front, and 2 drivers have to serve green flag pit stops for penalties. Metler and Catalano are both in.
Yeah, we saw Sanchez there jumping to the outside, Justin. That's him trying to just get out of the chaos, but he did it a little bit too abruptly and almost could have wrecked himself doing it. Luckily, everybody avoids him well, but you see Ferrari racing so hard up front. That's Davis in the lead on the bottom, and we have, what's that, Kenny Real already up there, P3 now P2, and Callamore, he is way on the apron, dropping to the back.
Just about on the brakes, actually, with the way he let off there. I think he's going to lose the draft, actually, because of it. But Kenny Real said right before tonight's race in the comment section, Jeremy, he's here to win. He's one of the red line drivers in the field tonight. He's also one of those known for running the money circuit when it comes to super speedways, just like Cody Nagels, who, by the way, in the case of Nagels, expect him to be fast because, quite simply, he's one of the best to do it. So 2 drivers already hungry with experience to know what exactly they need to do on super speedways, have opportunities here. 3 wide because Rio and Asheroff did not get to the bottom. Davis took the inside instead.
That's not going to work for them. They have no help in the middle. They're going to go backwards. 2 cars is not enough when you're in that middle lane. And I will just real quickly comment, Gallimore did lose a draft. Justin, only 25 laps in the stage. He shouldn't get lapped. I understand the strategy there, but I do not agree with it in principle.
Trying to keep the car there is the only thing you can say for later on in the race today, as Davis will go to the point. Also, guess who's already got enough double-digit spots? A new champion, it's Alex Coffey. By the way, Coffey had a whopping 54 incident points during the practice session. He did that in just 1 hour. Quite simply, he's very prepared for tonight. You can tell he's trying to get things going. A little bit of squirreliness, though 3 wide behind him.
Yeah, that was Johnny Shade, already a little bit out of control right there. That was a handling moment that caused that, Justin. Just didn't quite seem to be comfortable with the car there, entering the corner. It is an open setup league. Some of these guys might have their cars turned out a little bit for some extra speed, and with these higher track times, that could lead to some handling issues. So we'll see if that stays a factor. Here's Real. You talking about him being aggressive. Look at that push on the outside line. That is a strong car to have on your back bumper right now, it looks like.
He's in sync right now with Astronaut, trying to help him out in this circumstance. Mind you, there are 2 teammates trying to stay in sync here tonight. 5 drivers are on the radio for Redline Racing for their respective camp. Most other channels only have 4 per radio signal so far. But as you can tell, conga line starting to form at the bottom of the racetrack, and usually a lot of people like to run the bottom for safety, to say the very least. We see that opportunity to just clear on by the inside to the corners, and that's been working very well with that ability so far. Even Jose Medina on the bottom is making up ground with Matt Cox as well down there.
Yeah, we've had this conversation before in a few of these races, Justin, as I do think this league tends to run a little more bottom than what we'll see a lot of other places, but every once in a while we'll see that top get to surge forward, and I think if a good group of guys just committed to running the top here and side drafting the right way, that they could really make some real progress. The issue is when they're free wide like this, it's a lot harder to go forward.
Absolutely so. Here you're seeing just how much the shuffle works out for a couple of competitors. A little bit of a squeeze. That time Alex Coffey near contact. Coffey's still fighting hard in the 54 machine up the middle of the racetrack. Off, get the clearance on the outside as they go with Kenny Real. Staying on the bumper one with Shade & Company. And as we've seen in past years with this package, oh, hold on, Kenny Real just slammed the door on Coffey's face as they move down to the middle.
He was clear there, but he turned the wheel so aggressively to scrub speed as he did it and almost wasn't big checkup behind them because of it, so that line's going to surge back forward now. But you see, now that they've gotten away from that 3 wide, instantly that higher lane is already moving much further forward than they were before, and you'll see that progress continue all the way to the front if they stay as is.
Indeed here, and you can see right now just how some of the drivers settle themselves down here in the midst of the pack. Right now, 2x2 for the most part now seems to be the name of the game. The only drivers trying the top of the racetrack, low at the back of the group right now, like Matthews and company, and don't have the numbers. And mind you, a lot of this is going to be not just about how hard the line wants it, how the numbers play out is so critical to be able to get things done. Ashwarov just took the race lead up at the front with his moves. You have to stay in sync and have those car numbers just to have a chance, even with some of the tandems, get the outside lurking like this.
Well, those car numbers are even more important, Justin, because it's not just tandems. As we've seen with this car, the third, fourth, I haven't even seen the fifth car in line can physically push lines forward. So having strong pushers all the way throughout is really important. I think we saw some of that on the top lines. They're going 3 wide behind them here. Coffee, oh, Real drifted up. Real's going to go backwards to sucker hole now. See what Murray does. He's going to pick the top as well. So that is not good from the 99. He is so far off the base, nobody's going to jump with him.
Indeed, you see just how much some of the drivers with those moves are going into the sucker hole. No help whatsoever, and Real is no longer attached to his teammate as a result. Coming up to end lap 8 already early on in this one. One of the major things we've seen so far this season, Brandon Bowie's been in control much of the way over the course of the campaign whenever we've seen him. Now here is the big thing in regards to that conversation. In terms of Bowie, he's only running about 19th tonight in a purple car. Different paint scheme from him. Right now that 51 playing the cautious game at the back of the field.
Not the sponsor part of it. A big Planet Fitness 5 with the color scheme there, but he is. Now you say he's playing cautious, Justin, but he's in middle 3 wide. I don't know how cautious he's really being. Oh, and they're wrecking in front of him. What a save! That was Azarnoff with an incredible save down the back straight. I don't know how he hung on to that race car.
That was a little bit dangerous to say the very least once again. And that in turn sees things get a little bit dicey yet again. Let's take a look.
He's kind of stacking up there in the middle, and Real's on his bumper. Nothing really here. He went for a move that wasn't quite there, got into William Owens. That is an impressive save. I wonder if he's running that 210 degrees of steering that we see some guys run at plate tracks to hold on to that one right there.
Very curious myself, absolutely, here with that situation. Right now, just seeing how some of the drivers really try and play things out with some newcomers now joining the fray up front. Look at that, it's Corey Moore that now gets to lead some laps possibly. Alex Murray doing a good job to push him forward, but there goes the one yet again for the inside. Momentum swings constant. Right now, look who's getting a third line yet again. It's all the red line cars that are super speedway aces together.
These guys have shown that they have the speed to go up front. They just haven't made good decisions when they've gotten up front. They've gotten shuffled each time. So if they can figure out, oh, Real's almost wrecking it again. Man, these guys are aggressive and fast, but if they can figure out how to just hold on to it when they get out front, they'll be hard to beat. Possibly so, absolutely. And right now, we're seeing just how much the shuffle really plays out with a couple drivers like Chris Davis. They're indicating they're going to have to manage the temperatures too. You can only push for about a couple laps before the bumpers start to really overheat here. Hot day like this, Justin, it's not going to cool down very quickly either. So it's even, oh, they're wrecking Tim Harper around. That's Kyle Holden at the inside wall a ton. He is done. We are still green.
Murray getting bounced around, and both of them are off the racing surface. Harper able to keep going, but no caution. We stay green as things get chippy and the pack explodes. Our first Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay. See 50% off your entire order on topitoffsauce.com. Use the code Emerald15. Take a look at this.
Harper was just a little slow there. 6-7 got into him. Holden, no chance at all to stay out of the inside wall. Harper does a great job holding on to that and not wrecking that race car and gets back going. Unfortunate end to the day early here for Kyle Holden.
Look to be fast tonight, and right there, Taken hard into Calamity Corner. Caution.
Around now.
Caution does trigger this time. We're under yellow from Talladega, and Matt Cox is in it. Significant damage to the 32's front nose, and we're under caution for the first time tonight.
More damage on the nose of that car than I think I see on anything on the 5. If there is any damage on the 5, we'll take another look how to top it off. Hot sauce replay here. See the 32 of Cox rolling up with a lot of momentum. He's just hanging around in the back, and Carmichael just turns Matthews on his outside, and a huge hit to the right front for the 32.
Yeah, Matthews, I think, going to get away with that, obviously, for Matt Cox in his case. Going to have to go and get repairs done. Take a look, Barry Sanders, what did he see?
Just a little bit of smoke, some contact in front of him, and seas parted for him. Only 2 cars caught up in that one.
With that in mind, that quickly puts us in our first caution of the night tonight. That's coming around midway to the stage, and outside of damage repair, I wouldn't be surprised if no one comes down here, Jeremy, because you can make the stage on gas. Why give up track position?
And no real reason to pit here. If you're towards the back, come down, maybe take a splash of fuel, so you can take less of a splash of fuel at the end of the stage if you're planning to do a splash and go there for some track position. But that really is the only call that can be made here to deviate off strategy.
And we'll find out if Edwin actually does come down this time. Mind you, out of everything, only the one is down pit road. That's Kyle Holden, specifically in the 97. And as expected, no one amongst the race leaders coming down except for Nick Kane. We also have an error driver coming down pit road, Blaine Wilson. Zach.
Yeah, just tuning in right now. Obviously, a lot of drivers coming down pit road. We'll see if they take some fuel here. Just getting on the radio here with Aaron Matthews. Says he might have a little bit of damage if he tapped the back end there, but other than that, he is fine. So no damage for him. He'll check that. Missed his pit stall there, but he'll get lined up. Plenty of time to fix some stuff if he has to, and he'll take some fuel here.
So everyone will take their opportunities to get some repairs done in some of these circumstances. This does come as a lucky break for Gallimore. He's dead last and had, with what was going on for him, lost 4 laps because he did spend several moments down pit road. The Icon Apparel 300 continues right after this.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway here for tonight's running. There's just some more pit reporting stuff here from pit road. Jim Treat just got off the box with his crew chief. They came down pit road to put fuel in the car. They're trying to make the stop as short as possible here at the stage break. That's why you saw so many drivers at the back half of the field come to pit road to take care of their stops, get their stops a little shorter at the end of stage 1. So that is the fuel strategy, a little similar to NASCAR here. So we'll see what the boys can do. Jim Treat's going to roll off 24th here on this restart.
Thank you very much, Zach. And a smart play, because Remember what we talked about, where one of the major things on super speedways is maximizing your pit time and the animations and everything. That's part of it there. If he can save an extra couple seconds, that can jump you a few spots, as he said, once you're done at the end of the stage, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's definitely what they were looking at doing there, and it is a good call. If you were a little bit further back there, you had nothing to lose. Nick King, you know, he was in a position where he probably could have fought for some stage points before he was running, so we'll see what that call does for him. But, I mean, it's a play track. He could get right back up there just as easily, so I don't think it's a bad call by any means.
I don't think so either, and with that in mind, this is going to be an opportunity for some of the drivers to fight pretty aggressively if they want to, with 10 to go on the stage. Decide who pick up some pretty valuable stage points. Your 500 kilometers here tonight, by the way. And keep in mind, we'll see if anybody flirts with the incident points. I know a lot of them having fun, trying to see if they can send themselves off into space here tonight, Talladega, with the incident points earlier on in practice. But you have to avoid staying out of trouble if you want a chance here to win. Kenny Rio amongst those is going to have to pick up some spots with damage. Same for Ashwood-Off. A lot of drivers who were involved in some of the contacts there that didn't bring out cautions or brought cautions on some cases are dealing with damage. Here's Catalano. Munzo is trying to go from back to front for 24th for the Van Louis Stickers restart zone. There we go. Green flag is out. We're back underway. Coming up to start lap 16. Of note, Catalano did not get going on the gas. That caused a checkup on the outside. Already the outside is boosting away. Already, just like that, Davis, Rogers, Owens all down to the bottom. Oh, wow, look at Nagels and Real in the top 5 too.
Yeah, I don't know if Coffey was in the wrong gear there or what, but he just lost a ton of spots on that start. The inside line is not going to be very happy with his launch, but they're getting back going now, and that helped a lot of guys on the outside very quickly shuffle their track position back up forward.
Absolutely, here you can see some of the drivers. Like Cornette, meanwhile, got the caution flag to catch up to the pack. Did not lose a lap, though, in their circumstance. First time Catalano gets to try to race up towards the front if he wants to. See, Cornette should rather say in terms of that thought process here for today. Cornette going to be interesting to watch. New leader, going to be hard to take it away from him. Nagels is up front.
Yeah, these guys have shown their speed all day, and Nagels finds his way to the lead now. Kenny Rill behind him, no surprise. He has been the strongest pusher from my approximation so far. I think I saw a little bit of nose damage around that car from that shot, so we'll see if that affects them as they go. Probably affect the cooling more than anything. On the outside, Matthews will move to the outside, and Bowie will move to the bottom. They're free wide suddenly.
Carmichael indeed in the Arrow car. Look at Bowie trying to make some points up now. Your points leader looking to make the cuts on the inside. Doesn't get the chance though. Short off, in fact, able to clear on by for third. Here comes Greg Carr in a different look yellow machine tonight with the Waffle House look. Top 3 block the top. Bowie now leads the inside.
Big moments all throughout the outside line there as they make those moves. Nagels down to the bottom to pick up Bowie now. We'll see how long he stays down here. There he goes, right back up to his teammates right away. It's about what he wants to do to control the lines, but Bowie's still surging forward on board with that Waffle House car behind Carmichael in the 3 almost did that again there. And you see this shot down the back straightaway, still 3 wide there around 10th.
Right now you see the aggression popping up here when it comes to the red line entries. This is one of the best opportunities to go for the race win. Owens, one of the drivers who needs points. You see him in that 30. Just trying to figure out what to do. One of the 0x sim racing cars losing ground on the bottom of the circuit. Look how big the checkups are as everybody shuffles 3 wide up front.
Still big movement all around. You see those guys are trying to control the line together, and that's when things can get scary because if one of them's not clear, they're all going to have problems. But look at King working his way back forward, already cracking the top 5 here at that outside line. And here comes Nagels all the way up to the top to try to block that with his teammates.
See them all wanting to make sure they try to control this race, and right now they're doing exactly that. Inside now, still gets a boost, middle blocked off. Here's Christensen, picked up the win last year, got to the playoffs with that win, and now tonight, Going to have a tough move because look at all the red line cars again cause the checkups. 3 and 4 wide once again. Carmichael gets shuffled. Now it's Coffee with no help. 4 wide indeed flares up. Just like that, everybody moving up towards the front. We still have coming up to 6 to go on the stage. Carmichael, no help there on the middle lower line. Coffee does have help.
Four wide is going to stall them out. Not much they can do. Offie made a great move to try to split those red line cars, but nowhere to go with the momentum. You see King up there behind him now. He's going to try to get under. Oh, Ellsworth turns himself off King's nose. They stay straight, Justin.
Contact leads to chaos. They're still trying to wreck in the corner. Save is on. It's Usworth holding on. Right now, some others are on the apron like Davis. But up front, it's now Bowie. It's now Nagels, it's now Real, who have broken away. Expect that to change quickly, and tempers are flaring on the radio.
Yeah, Osborne off through an objectively terrible block there and caused all of that as we'll take a look at the top it off Hot Sauce Company replay, Justin. He's that third car on the line on the outside. You'll see King gets a run to his inside, is clearly there, and the 89 just turns down.
And people did not like that move there. King with the contact, and that's word off, and then 89 almost spins it. Coffee actually gave him a shot while he tried to fight the car. That broke apart the pack. It has compressed together. Coming out of the top of Alfonso's coming to replay. It's Coffee going to the race lead. At least a second, rather.
They are still racing like absolute insanity up front. There's the 67 of a tight move in the middle. He gets in behind Nagels now to try to push, but here comes William Owens with a push from Alex Murray on the outside. They'll challenge for the lead as well.
Absolute chipping is forming up, mind you. Mackin, Metler, Davis, and a few others have lost the draft. Rogers as well. Remember, Timothy Harper was involved in the first contact of the race. The one that didn't bring out the caution. He fixed his car. He's already pushing Real. 2 drivers with precision power plants underneath them, looking to work together. Make it 3. It's Donaldson to the point for a moment.
Oh, Nagels left the bottom open and Coffee went for it. Some bad bumps there. That gets Donaldson clear. Contact between the teammates there with Nagels and Real. Harper trying to push that 99 forward now with 67, and Donaldson's taking the lead.
What a wild race so far to the end of this stage. Coming up to 3 laps to go. Right now, Donaldson controls the inside line. Right now, dig machines as well as a couple red line cars mixed in for the first 4 or 5 spots. But you also throw in some of the others trying to make some moves from BMP. Going to be interesting who comes away with the edge here late. Do we see anyone try and make some more aggressive moves, or do you think it's going to calm down a moment before we get to the end of the stage here now that things steady out of the pack?
Might calm down for a split second, but they'll pick right back up as they go to try to earn those points. Guys right now thinking out that next move, and that's where it gets a little calm. But once they're ready to make those moves, all chaos will break free. Oh, tight move by Coffee. He squeezes between the teammates there on the outside. Harper's going to try to make a third line happen. He only has 1 car with him, now 2. Cornette in the middle is going to have a huge run up to Real, who hangs out Alex Coffee.
Just like that, Nagels amongst those now dealing with damage after that move. He's got a parachute now in the rear. Might have to drop to the back and get repairs done. Again, under 2 laps to go here on the stage. Third line starting to form. Harper and company looking to work together up there. Wilson, Shade also doing the same. But it's Donaldson, one of the newcomers. Big block for the race lead. Now he hugs the inside.
Donaldson threw a huge block there, but you can't block them each time they make the move. There goes Nagels around the outside right now, and he's got Cornette there and behind him. We haven't really mentioned Cornette too much besides a little hip under yellow. He's up to second.
Looking right now like Cornette might have a chance here. He's gone from the back of the pack to the front of it. 1 to go in the stage, and Cornette looks to put 0x Sim Racing up to the point. He will go to the point. Donaldson will stay on his bumper. Now they all stack up, but the momentum starts to hit its peak.
See up there, Vincent in the 33 pushing Cody Eagles there in the 16. We haven't really seen that 33 up front right now as they come back for these points. Owens in the 30 with Carmichael on his bumper. Coffee pushing him. The leaders at the bottom. We'll see if the middle can do anything. No, we're going to hang each other out. That's not how you're going to achieve the stage win.
Definitely not, and right now Nagels has the field where he wants them. Vincent He leaves the bottom open. Now it's Cornette going for second. Cornette thinks about a move. Can't shuffle the 16. Cody Nagel's green-white checker flag. And the Superspeedway ace takes the first stage of the night from Dega. Cornette wants those in the top two with the push. But it's Donaldson, Vincent, Owens, Real, Coffee, Bowie, Murray, and Shade who cross the line inside your top 10 for the end of stage number 1. Thoughts on stage 1, Jeremy, as these drivers have to go the whole way around before they pit?
And nothing about chaos there. You saw the red line guys working very cohesively. Makes it a lot easier to run up front when you have people aligned with your philosophy and making moves to protect you rather than to go around you. And I think we saw the result of that with the stage win.
Now you see the communication so critical. You see that with Catalano, for example, on his camera. Right now, what are you saying to your teammates knowing, well, you already know the pit stop's coming into play, but now what else do you say knowing you've got stage 2 to do it again?
Yeah, I mean, if you're anybody outside of the red line group, you need to, at this point in the race, identify how important it is to keep those cars away from each other. You can't let them get in a line up front like that and dominate again. You got to split them. You got to shuffle them every chance you get, or you're just going to let them control the race all night long.
Interesting to say the very least what we've seen here tonight, but right now the field catching up to the pace car. He ended up the stage with 32 on the lead lap. Darren Mills, I think, got the luckiest break out of everyone. He was the last car on the lead lap before the top of the caution flag and will have the chance to catch up to the field. Paul Gallimore, he has scored 4 laps down. Have an opportunity, I believe, to get a lap back. Kyle Holden is your only driver off the circuit here on the opening lap. So far from Dega with still 86 to go coming up. Now, the one thing that we might have to watch for is Nagels might absolutely tap to take the opportunity to get the repairs done on that 16. That left rear is crushed in.
Yeah, we'll see what he does with that. I mean, I would assume he would take the time to fix it. No reason not to at this point in time, but you know, he held on to it with it as it is, so gotta figure he'll only be better when he gets that fixed.
I think it'll be in a great spot, absolutely, with the way things are shaping up tonight. Still, though, it's going to be interesting what we see for the pit stop, Zach. They're underway for them.
Yeah, 2 different strategies here on pit road at the end of stage 1. The guys that did not pit earlier on, they're going to take probably 4 tires and all of their fuel. To the other guys, though, like Jim Treat in that 6 car, he's just going to take the rest of his fuel, get it maxed out, and try to hop a couple spots. So 2 interesting strategies. We see the tires going on the 16 car right now. On the right side, they'll run around to the opposite side, put the jack under the car, get on the left side tires now. We'll see if he ends up fixing some damage. Looks like a little wheel spin there, and he'll stay on pit road and fix his damage in that 16 car. So back up to you guys. You see 51 away, you see multiple cars away. We'll see the race off of pit road.
Race off pit road. It actually goes the way of Alex Coffey. A lot of 4 tires and fuel stops there. And some of the drivers taking the opportunity to get some fresh Goodyear Eagles on their cars. Vincent and Catalano are the only drivers who elect to stay out on the racetrack. So we're under yellow here with the end of this stage. Interesting play to say the very least, and as expected, some of the drivers will take the chance to get some of the repairs done, including Nagels. You have to be able to maximize the cars. We'll find that out here as we work our way through the rest of stage 2. But the Icon Apparel 300 will continue right after this. Stage 2, when it comes to the Moonshiners Racing League and its GMD Janitorial Cup Series, is brought to you by RS Button Boxes. We're getting ready for Stage 2 to begin here tonight as we continue the Icon Apparel 300. Just Prince Jeremy Miller here on the booth tonight. Zach Case down on pit road this evening. Ryan Bauer, our producer, using cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Right now, we're about to find out how things go with Catalano and Vincent. Remember, Vincent not afraid to slice up towards the front of the field at the end of the stage. Now he gets to lead the stage.
Yeah, we'll definitely take a look at how that goes for him. Catalano there up front. Yeah, he's a red line car we haven't really talked about tonight, so we'll see if he can kind of join the line quite as aggressively as his teammates have so far tonight.
Yeah, first time up for the front for the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company car at the very least here. Good chance to do something here. So, on that note here as we get ready for the restart, laps leaders so far, lap leaders if you will, 9 for Nagels, 6 for Davis, 6 for Coffee, 3 for Warnoff, then 2 for Vincent, 2 for Donaldson. We've had a grand total of 6 different leaders, 25 plus laps so far from Talladega. You see that count now with some of the drivers up on the board. Coming up to the Van Louis Stickers restart zone, this time by who gets the launch? Let's see, the 33 in control. Green flag up in the hands of Barney. Green is out. Catalano didn't get lined up alongside Vincent Foley. Not too much mattering though at a super speedway. Cornette didn't get the greatest of launches either, but might have the chance to be able to get to the 33 to push. Bowie will at least make sure the push is there.
Yeah, really good launch there on the bottom right now. We'll see what Bowie does. He's clear, as is the trailing car for him right now on the inside. We'll see Bowie is the first one to make a move to the outside. A little too far forward there. He's going to have to wait for the help to come with Catalano in behind. We'll see if he hangs him out with that momentum. He is going to push.
Yes, indeed, and there goes Bowie up to the front, goes the 51. We take the chance to clear to the bottom. He has a teammate down there. No thought of it yet. Might try and control the top, knowing the momentum's coming there. No, he will go to the bottom. Coffee is coming up top, and a bunch of dig machines. 3-car tandem up to the middle goes Coffee. No one followed from his teammates. He will go back up there, though.
Good work there for Bowie up front right now. Outside line's going to stagger a little bit further back right now. They caught a little unorganized in that middle line. Once again, going to drag them back. It's not easy to make progress when you're 3 wide on that inside line.
Definitely not, and we'll see a lot of these drivers continue to dance around, especially when you're talking about under 20 laps to go now in the stage. Cornette, right where he wants to be at the front. I've asked you this question before. Has this changed, front or back, in terms of traffic when it's 3 wide, multiple rows deep?
I want to dominate these races, Justin. It's more fun, and I just think it's the better strategy. Every once in a while a guy will win these who hung around in the back all day against the wrecks, but it's usually a guy who's up front all night that wins these races, and that's just really what I believe in. As there's Jim Treat to the lead. What a move there for a 6 car. There's Catalano, tight to the right rear. You got to be careful when you make those kinds of moves.
Definitely, especially with how tight things are going. Treat getting some big bumps. Gotta have to be careful with the steering wheel. Right now, Treat is bouncing around a fair bit, actually, in that 6.
Yeah, definitely some movement right there. You see the 34 Fender plates coming up front now. We haven't really talked about him at all tonight. Sean Rogers in the 44, another driver haven't seen too much. You see the 20 there of Nigel Christensen. He's got to win at this place, and we haven't really seen him tonight. So some new faces starting to make their ways known to the front here as we get later on in the event.
See right now Bowie able to shuffle his way up to the lead once again, by the way, in the 51. Phenomenal year for Bowie so far, looking to battle for the championship with a vengeance. So far on the season, 3 wins, 5 top 5, 6 top 10s. That 51 at a variety of tracks has just looked fast. What else can he say? He's one of the best drivers. Past 2 weeks, though, for Bowie have been a cold streak, though. 23rd at Bristol, 12 at Kansas.
Yeah, Bowie doing a great job. There's Catalano up front. There's Real behind him. Real found his way back forward quickly in that 99 car. And you see who there is behind him, our stage 1 winner in the 16. He's got that damage fixed and he's already all the way back up front. We'll see what these guys can do as they're lined up again as a team.
The Nightmare, if you will, able to carve his way through yet again. Mind you, Nagels, who's been trying to, from what we remember with the discussions, trying to learn this package and try and figure out how to race on these tracks. So far, he has, over the course of the season, only made 4 races. That 16 car has so far, though. Only 1 top 10 to his name at Bristol. This is actually the first time Nagels, on his normal dominant tracks, Jeremy, has made a Superspeedway date this season.
Yeah, so it's really the first that these guys are getting to see of it, right? So they're not really familiar with how strong that driver is, and that can make it a little bit tougher to game plan around. Right now you see on board Timothy Harper there, trying to get that outside going on the outside of Hochschild, so we'll see if he can roll a little bit forward, but not really much help up there. It looks like just 4 cars really working, as Real has Catalano clear for the lead on Bowie.
Catalano now gets his first lead lap failure of the night. Continues up the streak of speed, to say the very least. Doesn't last too long, though, because the inside's got the charge again. Brandon Fetter place. It seems like Brandon, to me, has always had a quiet season because he's top 3 of the points. It doesn't feel like that because that 34 machine, yet to get a win, only 2 second places are his best finishes, Phoenix and Coda.
Yeah, that's Bowie's wingman right there. Those 2 are teammates and definitely working together, so that's good for him to find his way through the back bumper of that 51. So these 2 working together. I know Bowie's been a bit of a mentor for Fetter Place from talking to those guys, and I think Fetter Place will always repay that debt in one of these situations. But while we were talking about that outside line made some progress. Timothy Harper's leading the race.
Yes, indeed. So the Aero Machine should rather say, believe me, said the wrong total earlier, leads the inside line. But right now, Timothy Harper now controls things. A little bit of a squeeze from that top line, though. Christensen trying to side draft aggressively. Do you want to be this aggressive on these squeezes and the side drafts on lap 36?
If it makes your line go forward, no harm, no foul, right? So you're really just working for what's best for you in this situation. I think we've seen that it helps the progress go forward when you side draft that hard. Oh, Christensen's a little uncomfortable right there, though. Oh, Harper and Real really close there off the corner. That's where I'm not too happy, is coming all the exit corner being that close. That's where it gets dangerous.
Oh, that gets a little bit of your contact actually with Catalano's bobbles. He'll go down to the bottom of the racetrack. No one's down there quite yet. The red line machines are taking this interesting. Christensen nearly went 4 wide. I don't know about that one, Jeremy.
That was him trying to help Harper. He over-committed to it. Oh, I thought Harper was about to come up, not clear. The red line cars right now, what they were trying to do, they were trying to lead all 3 lines, I believe. So the move there by Harper was able to break that up. You see Cody move back up to the top there with an aggressive move. So we'll see how they go here. Coffee getting blocked down the racetrack by Real. They're going to wreck because of it. Oh boy, one in the wall hard. That is Nagels in the middle of the field. Hard contact, even harder contact for Vincent.
One of your favorites is in it. There goes the 29 as well. Everybody piles on into the corner. Treat is destroyed. Sanders in the grass. Mark Sanchez went all over the place with the contact. It's the big one at Dega.
Aggressive block by Real up front, but that is not the cause. What caused this one is we take a look at the TopItOffHotSauce.com replay. Sorry, TopItOffSauce.com replay. You'll see when Real makes this block and that lane snakes down, I think it was Shade back here. We'll just take a look at it. Just follows them by himself, and he kind of hung himself up with Harper. Harper probably a little bit too aggressive right there.
Yeah, some heavy hits as a result there. So how does this change the complexion of the race? Vincent, Hochschild, and Cornette, by the way, are the meatballs from this. A lot of contenders just got a lot of destroy.
Going to depend on how much damage that 16 has, how much this changes the complexion of the race, in my opinion. On board of Barry Sanders. Second time we've been on board of him in one of these. This time he gets hit from behind. Gets some more contact right there of Hochschild. And still trying to work his way through it. Carmichael almost down into him. And that's the 25 of Greg Carr right there. And I don't think Barry got into it too bad there.
Yeah, I think he'll be once those okay with some repairs. Carmichael, well, I think a few drivers leaned on him, but he did get relatively solid on the brakes. We'll still have to get repairs, I think, to be safe. A lot of people.
Will be fine.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to have to at least fix the car for 30, 40, 50 seconds.
Take another look at it here. You see Jim Treat in the middle of our screen. Just a bit of a hit from behind from the one there. That's so unfortunate. He got arc braked right there. I think he had it missed. That didn't happen.
That car got absolutely walloped by Matt Mackin. What did Mackin see? Smoke? Smoke? Where do you go? I don't know if he got a lift down in time.
I called it an arc brake on the overview. Right there, we're on the roof, and you can barely see the wreck. You don't imagine it's only worse in the cockpit. I don't know how much Mackin could have done there.
Yeah, that damage on the back end of Treat's going to make it hard for anyone to push him for the next while. See some of the others. Mettler, oh boy, he lost it trying to lock it down to avoid that.
Yeah, but he didn't hit anything, so no harm, no foul for him. I think he would take that any day of the week in that big of a wreck.
I think so too, but more than half the field is down pit road this time for the incident. And with that, a lot of people with damage, Zach. A lot of people surrounding you.
Yeah, just looking at the cars, obviously plenty involved in that one, and just going down the order. Obviously, Chris Cornett out with the meatball there. Looking at the red line racing machine of the number 16, Cody Nagels, he said he doesn't have any broken toe lengths. In terms of the body damage, though, plenty of body damage, as you can see, looking on there on pit road. He's planning on fixing that for the remainder of the race, but he says the steering wheel's straight, so that's the update from the red line racing camp.
So a lot of those drivers that we expect to be fast tonight, especially those in the red line camp on the money side, outside of real, have definitely taken some wallops here as of late, Jeremy. How does it impact your team approach, knowing you have one good car left in terms of cleanness, and then you have a lot of people walloped?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just gonna... I don't know how much it changes the philosophy, it just changes the functionality, really. So you're still going to try to line up your teammate, make the same moves that you've been making all night long with them. It's just going to be a question of how effectively you can do it with less cars if you're down a guy.
Yes, indeed. So what's the approach going to be now, you think, for some? Because we're coming up to what's going to be a 10-lap dash again in stage number 2.
Yeah, it's going to be Chris Cornett, MIA here, but it's going to be a quick little dash to finish out the stage, see what it can do at some points. Get another look there here at Catalano, so he's still in his seat. Got to figure out where Chris Cornett went, Justin.
Bathroom? Out of the car?
Yeah,
he is down pit road anyway.
On track. Was he in that?
He was.
Some heavy damage for him?
Zach.
Oh, just, yeah, commenting on Chris Cornett. He was one of the drivers that did have heavy damage. I think confirmed, though, he did have the meatball on that, but I'll run down to his pit stall and get a check on that.
So we'll find out what's going on with that situation here as we get ready for the restart. Getting ourselves back underway pretty soon here after a wild run so far. Real is your leader. And we know Kenny Real has been kind of living up to the words. He's been kind of one of those hurricanes, if you will.
Yeah, he's definitely been really aggressive, and I think he's made one or two moves that the other drivers would call questionable, and, you know, we've seen the results of it, but I do think that last one he made a pretty standard block, and they just made some mistakes behind him, so nothing on him there.
I think so. I'm not saying there's the incident. I'm trying to make the play on Carson Hocevar, by the way,
yes,
who has the history of the iRacing side. So, that being said here, we'll say we've got some of the comments from those that are involved in the incident. Zach.
Yeah, just checking in on the Zero X Sim Racing team, and unfortunately all 4 drivers with damage. Chris Cornett in the 83 machine, he's out with the meatball. He's done for the evening. Blake Hochschild also out in the 38 machine. Jim Treat, William Owens, heavy damage, 6 minutes for that 6 machine of Jim Treat. So they will be battling to try to make up some points. A good thing for William Owens, though, he did get some stage points at the end of stage 1, so that will try to really make up the buffer here. But the 2 cars on track will be the 30 and the 6. The other 2, the 38 and the 83, are done for the evening.
So a lot of drivers starting to lose their opportunities here. Only 4 cars out, believe it or not, so far at this point, Jeremy, despite everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the nature of the next gen. It's a really strong race car, and it seems to stand up to a lot of heavy hits, and you can kind of keep going, get the thing fixed. I mean, you talked about 6 minutes of damage, I think you said on Jim Tree right there. I've had this car with 5 minutes of damage before, and it was still good enough to keep up in the draft, so you'll keep on wrecking all night long.
Let's find out what happens this time. We're coming up to a 10-lap dash. Rio and Coffee up at the front of the field. Catalano third. We're back on our way. A lot of people trying to get themselves up to speed quickly. We're still catching the field. But as you can tell, everybody trying to see what happens with the dig cars that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the inside.
Yeah, all lined up right there for them, but you see Rio and Catalano on the outside. Those are teammates. There's Bowie and Fetter Place teammates there behind them. Got Rogers coming up. We haven't really seen BMP do too much tonight, Justin. See Matt Cox a few cars behind him. Maybe they're going to start to show their cards.
Possibly so, absolutely. But right now, you can see one thing. Bowie inside again. Seems to want to show the hand of he wants the points. He knows this is his chance to build more and more to the cushion. Continue to build up what's been difficult to match with on points. Better Place stays as his wingman.
Still moving around there. Oh, Bowie, some unstable pushes there from Feather Place as we speak about it. I think Coffee might have been leaning on the 34 a little bit to lead into that, but that's what you got to do if you're in Coffee's spot. You push your line forward by pushing as that third car. Third car is almost more important than the second car if the situation's right.
You see right now, Carmichael Munsell shuffling. It looks like he's going to hook up with Matthews and a couple others that are back there in terms of line. But we're coming up to what will be 8 to go in the stage. Look at that boost. Carmichael may have made a solid choice. If he can get one more car up there, they might be able to do something. The third line's working pretty well tonight, Will says, in terms of this Jeremy I was about to say. Right now, the third line in some series can be a trouble spot to get going. The third line tonight's been very flowy.
Oh, Fetter Place with a huge moment. He's around off Coffee's nose. They'll stay green right now. It's going to cost Coffee any chance at stage points. Obviously, Fetter Place, as well as he scraped the inside wall, he got to get that going to keep himself on the lead lap.
So that will see him drop back. Coffee says he was getting pushed too. Top it off, Hanso's company replay. Let's take a look.
The Fetter Place, Coffee, you see Wilson in on the back bumper, the 54. Trying to see here. Yeah, 18's making contact with the 54 the whole way there. It's out of Coffee's hands.
And for Fetter Place, he'll wait for the caution flag here. Matt Mackin, by the way, also went down pit road. That lap is actually still yet to be scored in front of Fetter Place with the pit stop as he's going to get lapped. Right now, the laps continue to zip forward. Sean Rogers said, I've got to breathe, and we got to blink. All of a sudden, everybody running from Davis.
You see Real there on the outside right now. Bowie, not much help there on the bottom. Catalano loose. That's going to get Cox turned. Donaldson, Rogers involved. That one's the caution. That'll end the stage. Stage winner, Kenny Real. But that is a wreck for a few drivers behind them as Catalano made a mistake out of turn 2.
So, caution flag wave. Second time we've seen Cox involved in an incident. And I think that all sparked after Rogers said, I've got to breathe, and everything just went chaotic.
Yeah, take a look at the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay. Ironically, Mr. Top It Off Hot Sauce said, oh, sorry, I said he made a mistake. That's a bad push by Cox. That is on the 32 of Matt Cox.
Yeah, and ends up collecting 2 drivers, 1 BMP, 1 Aero. Let's take a look here. Blaine Wilson had already lifted a fair bit to get away from Davis after the blink. Oh, and it got worse. Yeah, you see Donaldson actually phased through Davis.
Yeah, that actually saved both their races. If those cars don't phase into each other, they probably wreck pretty hard. So we'll take a look at that from above here. There's Donaldson. He's going to move down, and just the internet connection puts those inside of each other. They bounce off each other and wreck hard if that doesn't happen.
Drivers trying to make sure if it's stage or not, and we are still coming up to 5 laps to go. Here's Carr.
Out the stage, my mistake. Oh, I got tight right there for Greg.
Interesting night to change up the paint scheme, but hey, it's worked out. He's been very visible on the racetrack for these Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replays. He stays out of trouble there. Now, interesting play here. Do we see anybody top off for gas, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see some people flip it again here, right? Just try to... Actually, we're so close to stage, they could literally flip it here. They could pit here and stay out at the stage yellow. But we could also see some people shorten up that stop by taking fuel here and fuel again under the stage yellow for sure. I think people are going to want tires going into that final stage as well, so maybe take your tires now and then fuel on only under the stage caution.
Let's find out if that answer rings true here. Zachary to work trying to get the reports for pit road and hearing the scoops. Looks like at least one driver thought about a fake out. As Warnoff, who is up to third, by the way, did not go down. Donaldson, his car's demolished from all the bouncing and banging still regardless, so he's coming down here. So a few hours at the back coming on down here, Zach.
Yeah, gentlemen, just getting out of the BMP camp there with the 32 and the 44, Sean Rogers and Matt Cox, respectively. Sean Rogers cannot get it up into fourth gear right now, so heavy power damage with his car. Matt Cox, he said it's not terminal, but it's not good. We have a spinner down on pit road as well, so you can miss their pit box there. But overall for BMP, not good for that camp. We'll see if they can get those cars fixed, and we'll see how bad it is for that 44 machine.
Find out pretty soon. Right now, all the drivers continue to roll as we continue on with our stage here this evening. Good opportunity, why don't we, to look at one of your competitors. Give a shout out to them. One of the drivers looking to slice and dice your winner last time in the spring. This is your off-axis paint driver profile for Nigel Christensen. His one win in this series did come in Dega. We talked about 32-year-old from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Really loves Christopher Bell. Did we say a lot? After all, the paint scheme says things for one. He watched every single race he takes part in for good measure, regardless of if it's on pavement, on dirt. He's met Christopher Bell at the trailer. In our words, he's one of what you would call a Christopher Bell super fan. Look at this racing room of all sorts of Christopher Bell stuff.
That's about as much Alex Bowman merchandise as I have. I can only dream to get it set up that beautifully, though someday that will be what I do. But that is an awesome collection for him, and I can guarantee you, like, so many people talk about the value of these collections, Justin. He does not care at all about what it's worth. It's just having it all feels so special for a guy that's that big of a fan of someone.
Absolutely, and with that in mind here, he's looking to bring his Christopher Bell inspired paint scheme back up to the front. It's 15th right now, where he runs in the 20 car. We're going to have what will be a 3-lap dash though, Jeremy. 1 lap to get the speeds up to temp, or rather up to pace, and then 2 laps to battle to try and win a stage. And while stage 3 is going to be the big one in terms of knowing those green flag stops and probably a lot more fuel save, right now, big opportunity to at least score at up to 10 extra points to your category here with the stage.
Yeah, big points there, and you know, we've been talking about the points all night long. They matter, and these are kind of races that can get even better. So we'll get to that stage end here in just a couple of laps, and then they'll have a nice longer stint to go for a real big payday at the end of the night.
So here's your top 10 coming up to 3 to go. Kenny Rio, Ryan Catalano on the front row, Brandon Bowie, Trevor Warnoff in the second row, Davis and Carmichael. Metler all of a sudden is 7th. He was one of those dodge the big one, remember, Red Lions camp. Wilson's 8th, Matthews and Carr, the top 10. Some of the other notables, Alex Murray, for example, is all the way down 17th. We haven't talked about Murray all night, Jeremy. It's been quiet for one of the dig entries that is second in the points, by the way.
Yeah, he was caught up on one of those early wrecks. I think he's been repairing some damage, but the car should be pretty clean, and he'll definitely get up there racing by the end of it if I had to bet on it.
If I'm a betting person, I'd say, but the way things are shaping up, it just feels like it's anybody outside the top 5 night to bet on who wins this race, just with the way things are going. Just seems like one of those races where everyone who knows there's an opportunity to win that you normally would have at a speedway or one of the intermediates, you take the chance right here, Jeremy. We're seeing right now, everybody knows it is a very equalization type of track after all.
Yeah, I mean, it's And we talked about before the race, like it's difficult mentally, it's so taxing, but it's definitely like, you know, not as technically skilled driving the car. It just really brings out a different aspect of racing, but that's what makes it so entertaining and fun to watch for us.
You say that, and then have you ever ran one of those races Nagels and company run?
No, I don't do the money races. I think that those can be a little bit too cutthroat and toxic, but they're green here, Justin, through the restart zone here.
Back it away, and the cutthroatness we may see here could get pretty wild. You have to be cutthroat if you want to lead packs, and right now we're seeing that with Real playing the inside and the outside already.
Yeah, we're going to be treating this really aggressively here. You know, every race is just as competitive when you're a driver. I don't think they care if it's for money or just for the bragging rights and points here in a league like this. Obviously, the points are very important, but you see them lined up as teammates again, but they're wrecking behind them. Quite a few cars around this time. Sanders involved, Harper involved, seeing cars involved, and some more down there on the inside.
That is the stage, Barry Sanders just said on the radio. So Sanders, the boss man, has called the end of stage 2. Kenny Real, green-white checkered, topping up Fox's company replay as it got ugly fast down the Alabama Gaines super stretch.
See the off-house car there. Shane just got in the Sanders there after the fact. I think 19 or more was down there against the inside wall. Somebody else, some heavy hits there from a 25. The car, he just couldn't get off each other right there.
Yep, you see right now Corey Moore. See on the bumper, and right there has very little time to react and sent hard to the inside.
Yeah, oh, and that was Christensen, the driver we just highlighted, caught up there in that one too.
What was that about commentators' curses?
Yeah, I think you got him there, Justin. But I got Paul Gallimore on the initial start of the race right away, so, yeah, I think it's just not our night with that. But you see contact there between those teammates, both into the inside wall. I think they'll continue, but some heavy damage there. And, you know, I just wanted to hit back, though, real quickly. I'll take a couple more looks at this. You're talking about the cutthroat with those guys up front racing really hard. On board with Matt Cox here, though. We'll see what he saw coming through this. They treat this race just like any other race, Justin. And I've been in some of those more competitive scenes as well. You know, our great producer Ryan Bauer, obviously a big factor in podium back in the day, podium 500, qualified by way all the way through one of those. The intensity is so much different than a setting like this, and I think that almost allows them to relax and just have fun running up front, which is almost more dangerous for the competitors because they can run even better when they're relaxed.
Absolutely great point on that situation indeed. And we should see a pit party here. Now, as they come ready down the front straightaway, we see everyone come down this time. I think they're still going to wait. No, they will not. They'll come in now, Zach.
Yeah, I thought I had time to get a little hot dog in before the end of the stage there, but we had to push that to the sides. Let's highlight Dig 2 here, though. We saw a couple of drivers involved in that wreck. Tim Harper in that number 23 car. He said it's all cosmetic, no wheel damage for him, so he'll get that fixed up on pit road. Alex Murray in on that 22 car. We haven't really talked a lot about him tonight, even though he's second in points. He's going to put a splash of fuel in that, and he'll be off and away. And in terms of the rest of the team, between Dig 1 and Dig 2, obviously guys trying to keep their car clean. Kenny Real, though, out and away. He's going to win the battle off of pit road.
Off and away he goes. One car who pit the last caution for repairs. Brandon Donaldson got the chance to lead after this caution period. So a good opportunity for the 67 to do something here. After all that damage, it is pretty much fixed.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the nature of these wrecks. You get opportunities to come down and keep working on that car, and you get right back into it, and that's why you're never really out of it. You see right there behind him there, that's Paul Gallimore in the 11. He's not going to be so happy with that 67. This was going to be an opportunity to get one of those laps back. But Justin, remember when he was 4 laps down? This would have put him 1 down if he got that wave. Unfortunately, he misses out on it, but he's the only car laps down right now. 2 yellows, he's back on the lead lap.
We'll take it back to a break, why don't we? As we're coming up to 63 to go. The Icon Apparel 300 continues after this. Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage as we continue on with the coverage of the Moonshiners Racing League. Just Prince Jeremy Miller here in the broadcast booth. We're getting ready for a restart. Donaldson did indicate he was going to stay out, as a reporter said earlier, so he is now leading with Kenny Reel in second. So with that in mind here, now it's the big one. You're running 62 laps, including these pace laps coming up here. And Jeremy, we know one thing's for certain. They're going to have to pit eventually.
Yeah, definitely going to need a stop here, get some fuel done for those guys. So we'll see when that comes into play, but I think they're going to be racing pretty hard. Fuel save isn't going to make too much sense with the way that these things are looking here.
Yes, this is going to be interesting right now for a lot of drivers. Do you expect it to stay intense like we've seen the first two stages, or are we going to see these drivers, say, run the bottom and stay calm?
They've been racing so hard all night long, there's no reason to think anything otherwise here.
So we're going to find out pretty soon how things go here. Remember, these drivers at Daytona can go more than 40. But remember, with Talladega, a much bigger racetrack in terms of 2.66 miles, in terms of the fuel mileage to consider. Run can go about 36, 37 laps without fuel save, is what some of the telemetry data is currently showing from the sim. 62 to go. You'll need at least 13, 14 gallons to get to the end, is the estimate. Green flag is out. We're back on our way.
And that number is what's going to hopefully keep us away from fuel saving as we're going green here, because it'll be 2 tires and a can and a half. You see Galmore dropping to the bottom again, just trying to get out of the farm's way, hoping for those yellows. But side by side for the lead, got the 67 Donaldson and Kenny Reel in the 99.
So we'll find out pretty soon where people stand. Already noticing this dive to the inside. It's pretty clear everybody's keeping this calm. A few of these drivers not as willing to battle as hard up front. Maybe Kenny Reel, who wants to, of course, try and lead laps, as he said. But some of those red line machines having a hard time building the momentum up like earlier.
And somewhat goes into that for a guy like Reel. You know, he's competitive everywhere, but he's not necessarily going to be up front leading. This is just an opportunity for a guy like him to get the lead laps, and yeah, just puts. Oh, somebody's down. That's Carmichael through the infield right now. He's going to hold on to it and stay green, but he'll lose the draft. He'll need caution to get back into this thing.
Yes, another driver with issues here. Carmichael has already lost 3 seconds to the pack with that. Mills is now the caboose. 2 other cars lost the draft immediately. Mark Sanchez with damage, William Owens with damage. Here's Catalano. You see again.
Albert Catalano behind one of the red line cars there, and the 7 of Mettler, one we haven't really talked about all night besides the wreck avoidance he had sliding across the racetrack, but he's found his way forward now as we are starting the final stage. Only 4 cars there on the outside lane, but notice that 3 of those 4 cars are all red line racing cars.
I'm not surprised. Again, it's that type of night. Yeah. They are making it clear that the only drivers willing to do something different here. Everybody else is doing the fuel save. Now, I know the series usually trends to the bottom of the racetrack. Do we eventually see now with the red line cars trying to take the line once they clear to the outside maybe and try and run the wall? Because that opens up fuel save, but some I've noticed like to not ride if people do that.
Yeah, it gets interesting. You know, in theory, your track position is actually more protected if you're single file on the outside, because you can side draft the guys as they pull out below you. But in actual practice on the iRacing service, it doesn't work quite as efficiently as we used to see work in real life.
Yeah, you're not going to see as aggressive of a save, I think, by anybody, by any means. Just with the nature of the package. This car continuously gets updated with the build, obviously. I remember they did update some things from the Daytona week initially. Remember, there was a fair bit of damage sensitivity. Now, there is a chance if you push too hard, you can crumple that rear end, which we will see drivers like Swarnoff are going to have to be very careful of.
We're calling back from the 89. A good view of the car behind him, phasing through the track right there on the splitter. Always a little bit interesting with these scope and setups. They get them so low to the ground that it does that, but single file, definitely saving fuel throughout most of the field here, Justin. I get it. They're trying to shorten up that spot as much as possible. I just don't know if they're going to be able to cut it to where they only need one can. They might be. No, they are. They're definitely going to be able to get it to where they only need one can. That's why they're doing this right now.
More like a can and a quarter, if you will, I think might possibly be the case.
I do have the numbers here on one of the cars, and it looks like at the rate they're saving, if they keep going to this pace, they can probably get it down to one can. The issue with that is that iRacing, sometimes you notice is a 20-gallon tank, will give you 2 cans even if you're taking less than half of the tank.
That's interesting, to say the very least. There's only so much you can do when it comes to that mark, absolutely. But we have 57 to work with on the board here in this one. Real, your race leader, by the way. We've seen Kenny Real in many circumstances make starts. He's had a bit of a rough start with 6 appearances in the season, but the past 4 races have actually been good if you look at the actual numbers. He hasn't had the points per se because of the starts, but he's finished 8th, 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 and 3rd. All of a sudden, he's found something after what was initially a slow start with Coda and Phoenix.
Yeah, he's done a good job for sure, and I do want to point out what he's doing in the corners right now. You're going to notice him running a little bit off that double yellow line. That is by design. He's just letting his teammate breathe that nose through the corner, get some clean air to the radiator, comes back down on exit, and gets a nice push down the straightaway. That's a great way to keep pushing every lap without getting the engine too hot.
Definitely. It's the way I would kind of do it too. Lift a little bit corners, then get it back to the bumper for the straightaway, let it breathe for the corner, get back to the bumper straightaway. And Mettler's job in all this is you're making sure that as Warnoff doesn't lose too much ground here. When he does that, you carry his momentum forward so he gets it back to the 99 as well in this regard too, in terms of the gaps, as well as that little breathe attempt you see as you talked about with the move up the line.
Yeah, these guys are burning more fuel than everybody right now, though. So that is the main concern for all 4 of those cars. You can see the gap in Coffee to Catalano in front of him. When we look up there, you can see it right now. Christensen, actually a great view of it because you can see such open space from the 5th to 4th car in line there. He is able to just run partial thought around the entire racetrack, which leaves that gap, but they're just being towed around by those guys racing hard in front of them.
Seeing how things spread apart as you see this from where the fans would launch up for the railing. And I will say, it's been really solid what we've seen here tonight in terms of the intensity. I think now is, again, this is the strategist part of the race. We've seen that with Catalano on his ride up at the 4th spot, being very calculated. Look behind them, though. Those gaps are getting pretty big. Like, Coffee's not going to the bumper. You have Medina with a big gap. You have Shade with a gigantic gap. Some of these drivers are almost too hard on this save where they might split up into different packs.
Yeah, the thing is when you're saving, you need to have somebody behind you and in front of you. Like, you kind of want to be tucked up. So, like, somewhere like right here where Barry is, this is actually one of the best spots to save because you'll have the accordion kind of keeping you in that little pocket where you always have air being helped on both ends of the race car. Where Coffee is definitely saving, but he's not saving quite as much as he could if he was in a little bit tighter of a flowing line up front.
We are absolutely seeing just how much drivers like Coffee are trying to play the games up here, keep themselves pretty close. They have a friend Donaldson at the very least to work with here. Coffee, his championship defense is actually okay so far. Top 5 of the points. Right now it's a minus 100 coming in. That's not including the stages right now, but only 1 top 10 in the past 6 races coming into tonight. It kind of showcases the consistency differences compared to the past, and if you say to load up a console game. But Coffee, one of those drivers that has gotten 1 or 2 good runs that have kept them up front, but hasn't been able to get sustained success outside of what we've seen for a couple people.
Yeah, he just kind of beats himself, really, if we're being honest. Puts himself in some situations that are not the best for him. You see some cars cut to the apron there in the back, but everything stays clean and green right now. They're 3 wide back there for last, and we're still single file throughout the rest of the field.
Here we are for now, and you see one of the drivers we expect to maybe think about something. There is Nagels. You see how he's trying to leapfrog cars. It is a technique here you can do if there's enough of a slope in the fuel save. And that is Nagel's still with heavy damage, getting around 2 to 3 cars. You're talking a speed difference for some of the drivers up to 5 miles an hour. That's why even he's gaining ground. And all of a sudden, some of the others like Harper saying, may as well get free real estate, get up to the front and then save.
Yeah, that shows you how much we're saving right there. Right now on the inside, it's not even close. And I'll tell you, Justin, this is one of the biggest philosophies some guys need to work on in plate tracks is when they're saving this hard, you running half a lap wide open to gain 20 spots is worth it because you're still going to end up saving to the same numbers than by doing that a little bit. And that's exactly what these two just did. They just jumped the entire field. Guy in the line are going to start saving right now, and they really did not burn any much extra fuel doing it.
Seeing that with Kane in particular. He's had in terms of pace at least, pretty solid couple weeks. He's already had to fix the bump release twice tonight. Looks like he'll get the gap to go to the bottom and leaves Owen Nagels. He's the only person willing to leapfrog this time. The time being, we're still at least 15 laps away to be comfortably per se into the green light on fuel per the numbers here. Right now already 13 to 17 laps into the stint early on in this one. One of the drivers that's really picked up spots on top of Wilson in this one, I've touched upon tonight, Darren Mills. We can go up to the 2 car. This right now, Darren Mills, one of those in the check-up effect to the back of the group that just had some near stack-ups. Nagels just had some issues. You see some of the drivers like Coffee all of a sudden are going, Nagels is going for the lead here.
Yeah, 3 wide, a little bit of contact there. Donaldson up there with Coffee. Here comes Real with a big block. Coffee's going to just slice right back to the inside. No contest there from the 99 at that point. They're starting to pick it up. I wonder if they're giving up on their numbers here.
Possibly. And some of the drivers just seeing, can they get to the point here? There's Mills that was talking about. All of a sudden he said, too aggressive, we're going to the back. Coffee for his sake. Links up with Donaldson, and Nick Kane wants to lead, doesn't get it. Lap traffic is ahead. It's William Owens they'll have to deal with next.
Nagels right now, all those guys saving, was able to get all the way up front. I would be interested to see if everybody pushing as hard as they can, how well that 16 would hold up. However, for right now, it does not matter as those red line cars are all lined up 5 in a row.
Some of the teammates still making it clear they want to control this race. They want to take advantage of a super speedway with the full strength and numbers tonight. Oh, this isn't going to be good for Owens. He's on the bottom. 3 wide. Do they get around him? Yes. Looks like they will get around with Owens trying to go with the turtle and move his way into the shell on the inside. Oh, while contact. Trouble in the corner. Slide around and sworn off. Coffee is around. No caution yet as they spin on the apron. They hit the walls and we stay green.
See Coffee rolling up to the back of the track. Nobody coming. The trigger of a caution. They'll take another look at a Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay here, Justin.
Yeah. Well, Coffee was not happy with that play there with the slope of the pack. And well, 3 cars to the inside. Kane also got collected in that.
Yeah, you see Kane was kind of part of the root cause here as he was pushing 89, but definitely the 89 lifting. I think that's actually a little bit on the 89. He hit the apron while lifting to try to let his teammates in and stack them up there. And if he doesn't put it on the apron, I don't think Nick King turns him.
So the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay, a good way to look at what just broke down there amidst the chaos. But still a few laps for the fuel mark, and by the way, all that carnage has split the packs up and then some. Great car leads. No, Sean Rogers actually does pack 2. They've lost 2 seconds from that.
Yeah, that is one of the effects of the wrecks like that there, where everybody has to lift to try to avoid it and splits up the field. And no, but the worst thing about this, Justin, is this makes the race a lot more likely to go green.
Yeah, this has been turning into a little bit of a powder keg, if you will, in terms of the intensity that some of the drivers already making it clear on the radio. They're not happy with how things go. Kenny Real, though, is he dropping? No, I'm not sure why he moved up there for the moment. went all the way to the top of the racetrack and then moved down in front of Nagels again.
Maybe he's trying to get some air to the nose of the 16 with that damage. He may get hot a little bit quicker, not quite sure, but be interested to take a look at these lap times as we go here, see if that second group is making enough time to catch these guys.
Yeah, this has been an interesting one here, as now it's Medina that leads Pack 2. Medina loves to race, give him credit on that. He is one of those in a Icon Apparel plan here in this series. It's one of the types of tracks that, if you're Medina, you try and take advantage of. 20th and the points coming in. Picked up a couple spots in the standings last time out. He's just been outside the top 10 the past 2 races with Bristol and Kansas. There's the gap between him and Christensen. Big.
Yeah, big for sure, but not insurmountable. If they work together well, they can get up front, especially first line right now. It's really going to come down to how effective the 16 can be with the conditioner of that race car.
Definitely will, regards to things. And remember, it is possible to close up gaps here, but it requires a lot of coordination. And of course, the leaders to fight. Mind you, the top runners here, they picked up the pace. They're not fuel saving too hard now. They're running 50.4s. Our pack just ran 49.8s. This is going to be one pack pretty soon if they keep up 49.8s.
Yeah, they're running much better right now. The damage on the 16, the 7's just not quite effective right now either. I saw him almost crashing there in the turn 1 that lap. Just not a lot of cohesion going on between these teammates at the moment.
And right now, coming up to 44 to go. So, again, as we go about, we're coming up to lap 20 on the fuel marks, by the way, so far in this stint. Taking a look here at Aaron Matthews. How well is he pushing? Pretty solidly. But everyone else isn't necessarily bumper to bumper here. The lead group just responded by picking up the pace by 4/10 themselves compared to them last lap. Matthews can't do it on all himself here.
Yeah, the pace wasn't even close that time, so definitely need to figure out something here in the backpack to get back to what they had that previous lap. See, 3.6 seconds, that's the gap between Nigel Christensen and Jose Medina, but that does mean they only need to make up about 2.5 seconds, Justin, because as we know, once they get to that 1 second-ish range, that's when they start to pull in naturally with that draft.
Right now, they're going to have to figure out how to close that up. 3 seconds or so is that distance. How difficult is it to enter pit road these days at Talladega, especially with this car? What's the main concerns when it comes to pit entry here?
Yeah, they're definitely just going to be... I honestly don't think there's many concerns when it's split like this with the pit entry, but just hitting marks, not speeding, not running each other over. We see a lot of wheel hop on pit entry at this place. It's a little bit bumpier of an apron than Daytona, in my opinion, so... definitely just got to watch for that and try not to make the mistake coming down pit road and loop yourself and end your race under green flag stop.
And right now, my thought in all this too, though, is there is a concern if you're Cody Nagels in terms of this conversation point. Right now, Nagels still has a very demolished car. I'm surprised he's doing as well as he is in second spot here. If he doesn't get a great pit stop and gets coordination with the teammates, he might be on an island here. I don't know if he gets the chance to win with this type of damage here, have not had a chance to repair it.
Yeah, I mean, do you even try to repair it with this track position? Like, it depends on when the yellow comes out, I guess, right? Like, right now you would, but it comes out with 20 to go, like, it becomes that question. It comes out with 10 to go, it becomes that definitely can't do it, need to keep the track position, so it's really just going to depend on when that yellow applies.
Yeah, and now it's getting to where some of the competitors absolutely are just probably thinking, where's this number going to get me to? Johnny Shade, Aaron Matthews, and a few others actually pit this lap, so the window is open for those trying to do the alternate strategy, Jeremy.
Yeah, definitely moving forward right now for those guys, and that's going to hurt that line's progress, though, with the losing drivers. So, I mean, look how few there are back there, but if they can get on that pit cycle better than this front line, that's where we're going to make their time, and they're cutting fuel in an interesting spot here, pitting this early. They basically just chose the second the window was open to come down pit road, but they might burn more than they burnt this previous run with the pack separated.
Few hours coming out pit road right now. Then we're in the second waves. Jim Tree, Brendan Fitterplace, Brendan Bowie, all peeled. So the second pack has all made the call to take the shortstop now. Mind you, there's still going to be about 40 laps to work with here. And is that going to be a play we see work? Mind you, 9 seconds. Coffee took under caution 5 seconds for reference. The drivers with 9 seconds. That's a couple seconds less than the potential what we were expecting, Jeremy. Some of the drivers that may be trying to take the 2 tires of fuel on the game plan.
Yeah, hold on. Behind them.
Travel back straight away. Matt Cox involved. Matt Mackin on the inside line. No caution, we stay green. That was with the group with Medina.
Still staying green, like you said. They're coming up on a lap car there for our leaders here. We'll see if they'll move to the outside. That's Johnny Shade in the 45, and there was another one up there ahead of them. No problems there, getting around Shade in that 45. Catching these cars, this is going to help this group's lap time as they can slingshot each of these, and this one will move to the outside, so a little bit of snaking back and forth as that's Treat in the 6 going backwards now.
Yeah, his car was demolished earlier, hasn't fixed any of the damage, most of it, if anything, I should rather say. So it's been parachute for the 6 machine here. Mackett is done for the night. He's left the session after what just happened there. We've had some other issues technical-wise for the 2 again. Darren Mills may be a potential possibility of a connection flag if things continue with his machine. But all that being said, right now we're down to, for these drivers, about 12 laps as the max they can go here. You're talking about, give or take, about 10, maybe 11 minutes of thinking here. In terms of this thought process, we're in the green light on fuel this upcoming time by comfortably for a lot of these drivers based on the numbers potentially. So now, it's going to be the wild thing of, will anybody try and dance around here? This pack is red line, dig, couple of BMP cars mixed in essentially up at the front.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a mix up here. Obviously, red line cars, as you mentioned, still up here in a line with those 4, so they're going to be working together. They'll probably all pit the same lap if I was going to bet on it. It's going to be very shocking if they don't, but they'll have the worst fuel mileage. They will definitely be the first ones in of this group if this group does not come all together.
Right now, Matt Cox getting asked on the radio about his situation. He and William Owens are being caught up by lap traffic right now. Treat has pulled his car out to the garage area just now. There goes Owens. And I think they were thinking, can we let Matt in the pack? After all, he's good. Matt's got a huge car-shaped dent on the front end. You see that damage right there. That splitter's not even sealed. So expect them to zip by quickly. That's actually forming a second line to the back of this with Heartburn Company. So they have to work quickly to get around Cox.
Yeah, and they may have been thinking about trying to use Cox as a bit of a help there to get some better fuel miles towards the end of this run. Maybe increase that pace a little bit, but obviously not an option with the damage on that car. That's Donaldson in 67 and others. That's all the dig cars coming down pit road here.
That's got to be a play, obviously, to try and get things different. No, they're in the gas window to take it. It can still take a short stop. That leaves the red line cars essentially on their own. Chris Davis losing the draft as a result because of how far back he was behind the dig cars. So just like that, rolling the dice for these pit stops.
Yeah, and that's going to hurt this front pack's pace. Less cars to work with. You see, it's just the 4 of them really right now. Shade with damage behind him is trying to cling on his lap car, but you got to think they got to respond to pit now. We're going to give up too much time working in such a small group.
See the response, or will they keep going here? Zach, what have you heard on the radios as we continue on with the green flag stops of the race?
Well, obviously, it's when do you pit, who do you pit with, and do you have any friends when you pit? And I think that's the strategy, and that's the conversation right now between Kenny Reels, Nagels, right? All those guys in that top pack. You just saw that group pit earlier. Now they're going to get back up to speed and start working together. So the biggest thing is, when do you pit? Do you let these guys stay out, get grouped up, and get some speed back? Do you try to gain some momentum, right? What is the game plan for them? So I think the biggest thing right now is who's going to pit with who, what time are you going to pit, what lap are you going to come down, and where are you going to cycle out back on track?
Thank you very much, Zach. As we continue on here, still no move made by the race leaders up at the front. Johnny Shade, by the way, lap traffic, is the air driver who's grouped up here, by the way, in terms of speed. They're running 49.6s still, though, Jeremy. That's the huge thing. You know what? Everyone just running right now to some of those who have pit 50.3s.
Yeah, surprisingly good lap times right now up front. We'll see what that dig group does this time around. This will be their first full lap at speed at their pit cycle, but right now these red line cars up front making really good pace. Johnny Shade helping the enemy there with his teammates being the ones in that situation who've all just pit, but we'll see if they get closer and closer to fuel number having to come in as we're on board with that 45 of Johnny Shade.
Yeah, you see, it's been a rough night for him. He was one of the drivers trying to get things to work earlier, but one of those who pit who lost drivers to work with, as Warnoff just came down pit road, by the way. It's one of the drivers who got... Yep, everyone else is coming down. Here we go.
You can see it developing there. Catalano hanging way off of them, trying to set up that pit entry. They all hit their marks and get in good. We'll see how they do with their stops and through the exit.
So in they go for the money stop here. And now let's find out how this goes. It's Warnoff, as we said, came down the same lap, but been not connected to the others with what had happened for them. Now, find out real quickly how things flow. As Warnoff, oh, this is interesting. I'm pretty certain the 89 is going to try and come out with the red line cars here. Still in the box. Yes. So as Warnoff knows his race is done, he decided to peel out with the rest of his teammates.
Yeah, it's a good strategy for him to work together. Some drivers might get frustrated, but they're about to get past while we're still in the apron here. I wonder how far in front of this group the dig cars are going to get. There's a chance that they're far enough ahead. Maybe not far enough ahead to cost you guys a draft because the line is so long.
Yeah, now let's find out how things go. It is the dig cars that get the jump with everything said and done, even with the pace difference. It's because the pace picked up with the dig machines. It's Harper now in the net lead as a result. Donaldson, Murray, Moore, Christensen, Wilson, Coffey, all in a line together, able to control this. That's in part because a couple of the drivers were able to pick up a little bit of time with the pit stop delta. And now it's Dig in control with 32 to go.
He saw their reel when he merged, almost hit Alex Coffey. That was a tight moment on board Catalano. Look at that. Mettler and Catalano both lost touch with their teammates. Red line is down 2 horses.
That is the concern when you have even a group like that together. If you have any disconnection like that, it just destroys your opportunities to go for the win. That's now cost them absolutely. As you would expect, by the way, the ones remaining, Reel and Nagels on the lead lap at least, they're trying to go at the outside. Everybody else in the dig line is making it clear they don't mind what's happening here. They're going to wait for a while before they fight, and they know lap traffic of a couple packs will make this number grow even more on who's in this group.
Yeah, we're still going to be catching that group right in front of them. Like you mentioned, you see Coffey up there in front of those cars, so he covers the red line cars. They'll probably hang him out when they get to the front, but right now they're probably content to push him all the way to that point and make some more progress with the extra race car.
So we're coming up to 30 laps to go here once again from Talladega Superspeedway. It's been an interesting night with all the incidents early. This stage, even with some stack-ups, has stayed clean for the most part. Look at Rogers. It's time for his stop. He was already in the back of the group after issues earlier on in his pack. That leaves only 2. Medina and Carr. Medina said he's coming in 4 laps. So that will be when we see the change to put the dig cars officially up in front and give Harper more than 1 lap lead on the board.
Still working their way through some traffic up there. We'll jump on board with Greg Carr. You see Medina in front of him up to the outside right now, so that's going to put Carr through. These two just coming along together right now. That's Matt Cox in front of them after his issues with some damage on the race car. I'm not sure what's going on with Dina and Carr making the switch, maybe just helping Trevor get a bonus point here.
I think that's kind of the thought process, yeah, a little bit. There goes the pit stop for Mills. That will obviously see him a lap down by the end of the cycle probably. But it's starting to get even more racier with some of these lap cars mixed in and some of the others getting into the pack. See Bowie, some of the Earl cars saying, hey, we want to have fun too. Let's get to the front ourselves.
Yeah, Bowie actually one of those lap cars, so he had some issues somewhere along the way right now, but he's going to be trying to race to put himself on the lead lap in case a caution does fly once those guys further up front do pit.
Right now, Bowie is not on the lead lap with everything that's happened here in this pit cycle. That's after he ended up having a 17-second pit stop. He fell behind a lot of the others, and now will need a miracle. Here's Carr, by the way. They've also picked up Matt Cox. Not a great day in the office for Matt. Matt, usually one who can win anywhere. Fourth in points. We've fought the multiple instances tonight. Now break up, potentially, and likely will, his top 2 streak. He built up 2.
Yeah, definitely going to break that up for sure if it runs as it is right now. They're 3 wide right there, or 4 wide almost with one of the lap cars, so definitely picking up the business right now, but those dig cars have stayed committed to each other up front. Oh, big move there for Nigel Christensen. Real still trying to push Booyah on the outside. They just have not made that progress right now for Red Line race cars.
No, they definitely haven't. The outside's just not working for them with the speed difference right now. Is that setup? Is that momentum? That's Coffee, by the way, pitting. That right now is a scheduled stop. Was about to say, what's the difference and why some of those drivers can't get the line working?
Yeah, Coffee on the pit road, but it's just, I think right now they just don't have the numbers with the Red Line guys, and one of them being Nagels has a lot of damage, so if everybody pushing, his car is just not good enough to make it work.
Yeah, now it's almost like the game of trying to see what happens. You know, you're trying to log the laps, if you will, Jeremy. This is going to be a few minutes of this, mind you. What's kind of the conversation to set things up now late, knowing you have plenty of green flag laps to go. You have plenty of time before you have to really start battling unless the outside really gets something going.
Yeah, and the question is going to be, are they going to battle? Like, when do they choose? Like, these guys have had the conversation. What lap is it that they're going to say all bets are off, we're going to race each other? So that's going to play a factor into this too. So right now they're still all single file up there. They are now the leaders of the race. Harper led that lap. Donaldson second, Murray third, Moore in fourth. And Barry Sanders has found his way in the fifth here. I don't know if he's off cycle or not, but if not, what a recovery by him after some of the issues he had.
Especially with the fact he's been basically quiet outside the incidents tonight. Coming up to the front of the right time. Want to try and win. Coming up to 25 laps to go, by the way, in terms of how things are going here. And now the major thing that is going to be the thought to whether this 12-car breakaway is there going to be anybody that makes the major mistakes here? You have to be so careful now to make sure you're not the one that kind of causes the trouble. See trouble, or rather lap traffic in Matt Cox at the very least, the bottom. Right now, this field will have some of the urgency to want to go, but obviously the sense of you got to make sure there's no mistakes.
Yeah, definitely looking to just hold on to track position here. You know, points matter, as we've been talking about all night, and these guys up front, you know, if they run clean and they don't wreck, the worst that you can finish in this group is 12, and that's something that I think some guys will be thinking about as well. Here's Coffee in 19th, about to get lapped. A lot of guys have just fallen throughout this stage with mistakes, and the pack's getting split up and some pit road issues. And we are left with not many cars on the lead lap at all.
Yeah, our lead lap total right now is down to 20. Going to go actually down to 18 because Kane also got lapped, Coffee also got lapped. To add on to some of the numbers here as the laps tick away. Carmichael just had to pit, by the way. He made it 40 laps. His fuel tank is dry as a result of his call and some of the bad luck for him. So now, you were saying,
I was going to say, see this outside line's coming. They've switched it up. Real's pushing Naggles now, so even with that damage, I guess they have found that they're faster with Real pushing the damage race car than the damage race car being the pusher. So we'll see how much further they can pull this progress up, but they're trying right now, working the outside of Sanders. That is 4th, 5th. There's a lapped car there that's looking to pick them up in King, but then they're going to be up to those dig cars.
Yeah, but that's the major thing. Can you try and break up the status quo? We know Red Line's made it clear they want to win tonight. Nick Kane in all this, saying, I want to win. I'm the one independent. Nick's the one who's ran on his own much of the way. They drive around Johnny's shade, but Kane, he's looking to go places. He's the first down on the outside.
He's looking to take a lap back, so he's going to be looking to try to hope for a yellow to be while he's on the lead lap. Obviously, he's in the lucky dog position if the yellow were to fly, but, you know, he's bump drafting like this right now is very easily going to get a car contact that could cost him that. So King's playing a pretty risky game here versus a high reward if he unlaps himself the hard way, but there is a high risk to getting some incidents if the yellow were to fly and not getting that lucky dog.
Yeah, we're seeing that now with Davis in particular on the drive-by. King to try and lap himself. All of them electing to stay a little bit off the bottom because not everyone's cleared yet. Trying to make sure there's no calamity, if you will. They will have to keep that going for a bit. Carmichael, Sanchez, Medina, Carr, Owens. Some of the numbers that are coming up, the names, if you will. They're going to have to force these drivers to keep their head on swivels. A little bit of a push-up that time.
Moving all around. You see, I mean, they are racing a lot harder throughout this pack right now. They're spread all over the place. You got some more lapped cars coming forward. That's Bowie. He's a lapped car. You see Coffee in there's a lapped car. They're making aggressive moves, and they're going to be contributing factors to how this race shakes out.
Here we go. Nagel's trying to help out King to get his lap back so he can try and find out if that car's going to be able to stay up there. I think that's a concern, actually. They kind of need... Oh, trouble! It's Christensen around. Christensen, the spring winner from last season, hits the inside wall. Another one with no caution.
Not going to be yellow for sure. Some contact with the inside wall. Christensen pulling up on the racetrack, getting back going as we'll take a look at the top it off Hot Sauce Company replay here.
Yep, watch that from the 20 right here. He was amongst those trying to work the middle line. Then, that was a big wash-up.
Yeah, and that's just really unfortunate for the 20. Just nothing he could do there. He was along for a ride and just a complete victim of another driver at that spot.
So, as a result, the 20 now out of the conversation. Carmichael, believe may have had some issues too. He's no longer on the racetrack. That's because his sake he had a black flag from the contact. King to unlap himself. Alex Sanchez move out of the way. And now the 12 has an opportunity quickly to try and clear on by as Warnoff. He's also amongst those trying to figure out a way to lap himself possibly too. Kane is officially on the lead lap. Does he move down or does he stay with the 16? It looks like he's content with helping out the red line cars.
And that's 16, not quite able to lead that lap there as Harper did. They got some more lap traffic here coming up. Inside line's going to force the cars above them up higher to try to prep themselves, not have to make evasive action. That's 3 lapped cars. Will be 4 wide for a split second here as we pass these race cars.
Again, the waves come through with the outside line now rumbling. Outside block for Kane. Outside block for Harper. Little bit of a squeeze on the outside with the compression up there. And this is getting dangerous. Davis to the middle. Another one of the lap cars going after it.
Yeah, we're still looking all around right there. Donaldson inside line are all pulling forward way clear right now with that group of race cars from that shuffling. Harper through that aggressive block and it has bit him. He is still going backwards.
4 wide, not a great sign. A little bit of a squeeze, Davis. Can they get clear? Yes, Coffee is also in there as a lap car. The lap cars are racing a lot more aggressively than the lead lap cars, we'll say that much.
Yeah, all of these cars, only 10 of these are lead lap cars in this group, so kind of hard to keep track of where everybody is, but you can see the ticker on the left side of your screen, only 13 on the lead lap. We will catch Christensen soon and hit that number down to 12. Catalano and Metler, remember when they barely lost that race off pit road with their teammates and lost the draft? They have lost 30 seconds since then.
That's a lot of ground as a result of not being able to pick up the draft. Mind you, they're half a second a lap slower on average compared to the leaders currently. Got a 16 to go next time by. And now we find out pretty soon who's going to be the one to make the charge for the win. Who's going to get the opportunity to peek up in front. Right now, things looking steady for Donaldson as the leader. But look at some of the step outs there. Harper danced around a bit.
Got a line of lapped cars here on the outside. Blaine Wilson there, third in line, is the first one in the lead lap, but the car behind him also a lapped car. They're making their way forward, trying to unlap themselves, and Wilson going for the lead with this line.
You see them all going up to the outside. Some of the drivers here really getting the outside going. Coffee unlaps himself now. Blaine Wilson, though, he's now the leader with that. Some of the dig machines took the chance to get Wilson up in front, but right now Wilson needs to find a way to get a line working. He's battling alongside Donaldson for the lead.
And lap cars leading both lanes there. Second car in line racing for the lead in each lane. There's Christensen with his damage. He'll get out of the way. He'll go a lap down as this pack comes barreling on by him with his car off the pace. They're still side by side there with the lap car fading on the outside in Coffee. Davis leads the pack, but Donaldson leads the race.
Now Laura Munsel's calling that they're having overheating issues in the heart of the field as some of the drivers have some heating issues. 15 laps to go. Davis still up at the head of the group, helping drivers like Donaldson save. But right now, it becomes the question, when is the time to pull the pin? When are you going for it tonight?
Yeah, it's still a bit early to do anything that's going to possibly jeopardize yourself. Got to balance the risk and reward right now. These guys in line on the bottom, they're all happy. They have good track position and a good opportunity to make moves late, but you see 3 wide further back there. It's real on the outside. He has a driver come up and pick him up now back there, trying to get around the lapped car there in the middle of Alex Coffey.
Yep, you see right now they are having a hard time doing that, by the way. That side force is so real up in that middle line, from the middle line, if you will. Harper now trying to work with Coffey, doesn't have help. Wilson still not able to clear with the help of Real. 14 laps to work with here with the Icon Apparel 300.
Yeah, we're still working through right there. You see single file for quite a bit back. 3 wide is just hurting all these cars. That's Wilson, Harper, Coffey in the middle. Got all the red line cars up top. 4 wide there with the teammates getting a little shuffled for a split second. They'll find their line back down in line, and the only cars left on the outside are red line cars.
Definitely makes some nervous here with the way things are going. The red line cars yet again trying to dance. The red line cars really want to get Real up in front. He's the cleanest car they have left on the lead lap. Side draft really pulling them back with Carr. King yet again takes the lead of the outside line for now. Yet again, King seems to be one of the drivers helping. They are not going to help out King this time. Look at that 3 wide. They span him out. Coffey to the middle.
Coffey was almost wrecking there as he made that move to the middle, really loose. These guys are just not making any progress around that third line. Being 3 wide is not helping.
Absolutely not. Look at some of the drivers poke around here. If anything, their best opportunity is get some of the drivers to breathe. Oh, Nagels just said he's overheating. Had to tell everyone we have to lift here. Outside's going to back off as you see the inside. Right now, Davis willing to let Donaldson cool off the motor despite not being on the same team here with 12 laps to work with.
Yeah, we're still looking around right there. You see Coffey making a third line back there again as a lapped car. He's got some help behind him. Only 3 cars there in the middle. Got to wonder if they're just specifically Coffey that is specifically just trying to make sure he doesn't help the red line cars no matter where he goes with so many of his teammates up there on the front.
All this is going to be the question. Do you see anybody ditch their teammate here, you think, or do you stay with the teammates to the end here? What do you think is kind of that plan for Dig based on what you know in the Dig camp?
There's no reason to make any moves right now. You're just going to hurt everybody by making a move right now. But at the end of the race, all bets are off. But as we say that, here comes Real and Daggles. They have gotten it wound back up, and they're coming forward in a hurry. Audrey to the outside blue. Let's see what Moore does. No block there. Will Murray or Donaldson choose to block as they pull forward?
Answer is not yet. We'll see Sanchez go right to the apron again. We're down to 11 to go. Drivers in the lap cars again moving up. Nothing doing in terms of the battles up at the front itself. Now here comes Real. Block is off for Donaldson. He nearly gets torn. They're starting to wreck with some of the lappers inside. Coffee is around again. Another week with a spin. This may bring out a caution because he's on the racing surface. Better place destroyed. There's the yellow.
Took forever for it to come out, but Coffey's car eventually slides all the way back up to the racing surface, and that is enough for us to get the caution. We'll have to take a look at what caused this one.
Caution waves, top it off Honso's company. Replay here. And let's take a look. All sparked with this. The 54 drifted back up the track after.
Coffey just kind of came down on Harper right there, and then obviously sent down to Federer Place hard contact for the 34. Let's see here. Coffey locks it up a little bit late and kind of just let it slide back up, and there's a car coming which will trigger the caution.
Right there. We do have conversations on the Lucky Dog. Nick King got a bump right as the caution came out too. That gives Bowie, in theory, the lucky dog instead of King.
Yep, and that's the risk we were talking about, Justin, with them racing in this pack, is you get that little 0x at the wrong moment when one of these car wrecks happen, and that can cost you. But on board a Federer Place, just nothing he can do there, and he gets a huge hit there to where the outside wall jet, or the inside wall jets out.
And look at the hood just block Federer Place's view. Obviously, having to take a slow up. Those two are your trigger for the caution. Federer Place has already made the pit road. So the dash is on for the pit lane here to get the service done for some of the damaged race cars. But the lead lappers, we should see stay out. In theory, everybody can make it on gas, obviously, with less than 10 to go. And I think some are going to be good for green-white checkers, to say the very least here, Jeremy. Now it's the battle. See where this really solidifies who wins this race.
Yeah, it's definitely going to shuffle things up. We'll get the lap cars out of the front of the field here as they'll be filed to the back. See any takers there. Nagel's coming down. He's going to do some more repairs. I get it. There's not a lot of cars in the lead lap. He's not giving up too much track position. I do think this is actually a pretty good decision.
What do you say to that here, Zach?
I think overall you guys already covered it, right? He's going to come fix that damage, so the 16 car will make the long trek down pit road. He'll get in his box and start fixing some damage, but I think overall the rest of the drivers, they're either fixing damage, they're topping off their fuel tanks and make sure they can get through a green-white checkered if possible, right? But I think overall, take care of your car right now. You know if you're on the lead lap, there's not a lot of drivers on there, only 12 to be exact right now, so we'll see between the takers how hard it is to get back up to the front. I think that's the biggest thing. The 16, we know he's fast, right? We know he can get up there. How many laps does it take him to be back up in the top 5 in the mix here coming to the white flag?
For the most part, everybody still in pit road is for damage repair. We'll take the opportunity to step aside. We come back a restart. We'll have a 7-lap dash to decide things. The Icon Apparel 300 continues on. You're watching Precision Entertainment.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway for the Icon Apparel 300 here this evening for the MRL. As down on pit road, we saw drivers leave, get some damage taken care of, splash off those fuel cans, right, get everything back in the fuel tank, and they're ready to go as we are back under caution for the maybe one of the final times here. But just overall, looking at the top 10, I mean, overall, you're really kind of dialing in how hard do you want to push here off this restart. If you're one of those drivers close to the back, inside that top 12 that are on the lead lap, how hard are you going to push, right? If you're the 16 of Nagels, are you going to try to push a little harder, get up to the front, right away, or are you going to wait a couple laps, dive around some cars, and be there towards the end? I think if you're Kenny Reel, though, on that front row, you're trying to maintain, you're trying to keep the red line guys behind you. If you have some friends, if you're the dig machines, you know you have the numbers, right? So take advantage of that. Back up to you guys in the booth. We'll see what happens here. Coming at 7 to go when we go green.
7 laps to work with here in this one, as right now we find out who's going to be able to come up on top. Right now it's Kenny Reel in front, Brandon Donaldson in second. Rather, should be flipped actually. Donaldson was the leader of the stripe. Murray and Moore, Wilson and Harper, Catalano, Metler, Sanders and Matthews. Also lead lapper Davis and Nagels. Cody Nagels is still demolished. He's got most of the front end at the very least fixed though. We'll find out how this goes, Jeremy. This is going to get wild.
Yeah, definitely get wild. I think Zach said it right. Maybe the last time under caution. I think it's a probably not, but we'll see. We've seen it go green in these situations before, but we're going to definitely try to race hard. I want to see Chris Davis rewarded for racing his way back in the lead lap. That'd be cool to see here.
Definitely would be, but we're about to see how things go for the Van Louis Stickers restart zone. Right now, just about ready to fly once more. Green flag is out. 7 laps to go at the stripe. It's Donaldson looking for their first win in the series, who leads up in front. Corey Moore on the jump as well.
See a very organized jump on that outside line. Reel trying to get up on the left rear of Harper and pull him back just a bit. He did enough to get some help, but what's Murray going to do behind him? He's probably going to jump up with his teammates, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Absolutely, and you see some of the drivers at the very least go into the back, like William Owens with damage. Others will go trying to get to the front at least. Nagels with damage. He's struggling to get things going though. Coffee up the middle. Amongst those making charges, we have drivers on the inside of the grass. It's Metler involved. Metler able to save it. We stay green.
Great save there by Metler. He wasn't clear of his teammate. Came down. Oh, Reel with a bad bump there off the front bumper, and Matthews holds on to it. They're 3 wide back there because of that. The front 4 scooting away.
Calamity striking late. 6 laps to work with. Nobody's been able to get alongside Donaldson yet. It's a dig. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's Catalano with a chance.
Big block by Wilson. Picks up that line. Reel to the inside of his teammate because of it. They're staggered 3 though. No real help, but the inside not as formed up as they could be. Not really gaining anything because of it. Here comes the 16 and Nagels in behind him, but we're still on board with Catalano. You see Murray with a move to pick up the 18.
Little bit of door-to-door contact and combat, if you will. Right now, the run there by Reel. Does he take the chance to get in front of Catalano when it opens? He's got Nagels behind also. 5 laps to go, this time by. It's Donaldson still up in front. He's led 17, now make it 18 laps tonight. Can the 67 have a nice time and hold off the pack late?
Nothing much happening there on that outside lane right now. 3 wide once again, just kind of hurting the progress in the middle. Murray still hanging tight there on the outside of Rogers. Not much progress. Maybe inching a little bit forward here. He's going to pick up the outside lane, blocking Catalano. Catalano goes for the middle, but there was no room there, and he's going to wreck the field.
Away we go. Crashes on. Caution is out. Medina up and over with heavy contact. Catalano, Wilson, and several more are demolished. And just like that, a majority of your pack has imploded again.
Catalano got aggressive, didn't want to be blocked by Murray. Murray was more than clear and made a good block and just turned down anyways, which led to some calamity there for Catalano. And we'll have to take a look at this after this replay. Catalano just got murdered under yellow after the fact.
Looks like he tried to go to the hole. That was a tight one to go through. Catalano. Heavy contact. Kane involved, up and over Medina. A lot of the lappers actually got some bad damage from this.
Yeah, a lot of big damage. Yeah, we're going to get a look at this. Catalano is trying to get back going. He's yelling on the radio right now, but I don't see how this is possibly Mark Sanchez's fault. He just spun up on the racetrack way after the fact. I mean, that's... I don't know what he wants out of the 29 there.
A new race car? And I don't know what's going on here. Race admins are giving multiple warnings to drivers right now. I think Mark said on the radio, you're off the surface right now. Why was Catalano on the top?
Yeah, I don't really know what he wants out of Mark there. I understand he's frustrated, he just wrecked, but that is really unfortunate for Mark Sanchez, who was just trying to roll through a crash scene and had a car jump up on the surface in front of him and sideways pitchforked across 3 lanes.
That was very wild, very quickly, and I think this will spark green white checker territory here for this one, just like that. Again, incidents, we were expecting them late, and now it comes to where can you break up the gauntlet? That is the dig 1, 2, 3, 4 on the restart. Coffee, by the way, I believe might be the lucky dog. That's why he's set up front here, as some of the drivers in the back will pit.
Does appear to be what he's set up for. You see 16 Nagels here. He's coming back down for some more repairs for the green white checkered. Yeah, this one I would question the track position over repairs, but he does seem to think that he needs to do it to have a chance to win the race.
Absolutely, Zach.
Yeah, just going through some of the comms here between the teams, and obviously a lot of frustration with the first to engage motorsports group with Mark Sanchez in the 29. He said, what a joke, over the radio inside team communications. So a lot of frustration from that camp. Obviously a lot of drivers fixing damage here on pit road. I can walk all the way down pit road by the time some of these guys are going and leaving, so plenty of damage here. They got plenty of time to fix it, but 3 laps to go up on the ticker. We'll see what cars can get back out there, and we'll see which ones can contend for a top 10, maybe a top 5, maybe even a win.
So we'll find out pretty soon how things are going to fare out here as we get ready for overtime. That will be queued up next time by at the stripe. At that point, again, it's a race to the checkered. Once you get to the white flag, if we get a caution with the white, essentially in this series, it is over. Remember, 1 caution can end things off, and it started off with Victor Pfluger getting the win this season as a result of the caution before they got to the white flag on the last restart of that race at Daytona. But we're going to finish up this race now with about 13 on the lead lap. Coffee can confirm, did get around. I believe 12 actually, because one of the others did lose a lap in the midst of repairs. But outside of that, who's going to get the job done here, Jeremy?
That's a tough pick here with the situation we see up front. I think Donaldson's been really strong. He's shown he can throw some really aggressive blocks and keep that track position. I think it's tough to pick outside of those dig cars. We'll say that Harper gets it done. It feels like a Harper kind of night.
I mean, Timothy Harper is in 4th amongst the dig 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to require a little bit of slice and dice, if you will, to get around more and then break up Murray and Donaldson. In terms of what we're about to see here, possibly. Get the trigger this time by Barry Sanders. Just came back down pit road and is still getting repairs done, so he will lose the lead lap. In fact, Zach, what's your prediction as we get ready to go?
I mean, just looking outside that top 4, that dig 1 through 4 right now, obviously you have Matthews, you have Reels, you have Davis, Mettler, Wilson, and Coffee. I'm going to go with Kenny Reel. I think he's the best driver so far. I think he's going to be able to push someone past those digs 1 through 4 and then leave him high and drive coming off of turn 4, and it's going to be a drag race. So I'm going to give it to the 99. We'll see what Kenny Reel can do. He's been fast all evening. He's the smart guy. He's been in these big type of races before for more stakes than this, right? So we'll see what that 99 precision car can do.
So to reset your top 10 for this restart, it's Donaldson and Moore, Murray and Harper, Matthews and Reel, Davis and Mettler, Wilson and Coffee. With the other repairs done this caution, Nagels is the last car in the lead lap. He is 11th. 11 cars have a chance to battle for the win. Oh, by the way, Jeremy, Cody's got a clean car for the end of this.
He's got a clean car and he's got time, and he is where he wants to be. He's there on the outside line, so definitely the best spot to be to have a chance to make a run out of here for him, as it is a lot easier to go forward on the top than it is on the bottom, pinned in behind everybody.
Here we go for the upcoming restart. Just a couple more corners until we fire up for what will be a wild run to the finish. Van Looy Sticker's restart zone going to be so critical for Donaldson. Wants to be able to control this lane. On the bright side of the very minimum, we will see a different winner here tonight when it comes to the Moonshiners Racing League. When it comes to not those who went to victory lane last season, Christensen and Coffey were those two in 2025. How's this go in 2026? Watch for the count. Corey Moore already getting himself fired up. A little bit of checkups going on here. Pushes on. Look at the jump for Moore. Got a huge run with the help of Harper. It's the 19 ahead of the 67 at the line.
Gotta wonder if it was too good of a jump. We'll see if the 19 gets posted here, if that's all clean and green for the restart, but he's gonna jump down in front of the 67. Harper now leading the outside line with a push from Kenny Reel.
Harper getting the run as a result of the push. It's Reel on his bumper. Reel's now been given damage. He's been pushed so hard by Metler. 4-car push on the outside. Less than a lap and a half to go.
See red line cars all lined up there. We're gonna leave Harper at some point here. You gotta think the three of them are gonna go together in a great spot. The only thing that's gonna stop them is the big car staying committed on the bottom and them stalling out when they try to pass Harper.
Moore trying to control the inside. Harper on the outside. White flag is out. 1 to go. Brought to you by League Gaming. Harper gets the charge with the help of Reel. The 23 gets the edge down through 1 and 2.
See if they think it's time to go yet, or if they continue to push Harper down the back straightaway. Oh, Metler turns the 67. It's going to be a 2-horse race for the win.
Side by side they go. The entire field implodes. Nagels has the run. Few others trying to get the momentum as Warnoff and company. It's 3 wide, possibly. Yes, it will be for the lead. Nagels with the run. The Super Speedway ace on the outside. For red line, he nearly gets hooked. Nagels drives his way from the back of the lead lap to the front of it. Harper looks to try and move inside. It's not enough. It's Cody Nagels in his environment that gets it done.
He's won a lot of these on pure skill, Justin. That one was a lot of luck with the whole field wrecking in front of him and scooting on through with that big run on those two side by side in front of him.
A lot of destroyed race cars yet again. It's Nagels' first win in Moonshiners, and the favorite of the night, able to find the run after the calamity, survive the carnage, get through it all. You can get off the throttle at some point, Cody. I think he's just making sure he's got the advantage for when he goes to celebrate here. I think you're absolutely stunned, are you not, with the way things look? Look at this slide.
Not much tire smoke considering how much he stood there. He's going to let this thing roll backwards, right back to the start-finish line and celebrate his victory a little more. But I mean, everything broke absolutely perfectly for one of the best super speedway racers in the field to just take advantage of them being side by side. And I think they just kind of forgot about him.
I think people threw him out in terms of his contention because of the damage. That last caution was the saving grace for Cody here tonight.
Yeah, got that car fully repaired and just took advantage of it there. He's going to burn it down all the way here to the start finish line, loop it back around, and, well, Kenny Reel's down there burning out too. I guess he's really happy for his teammate.
I mean, it's a great day for Redline at the very least. You get a win in a super speedway race and show you had speed from the get-go. Show you're here. So as the whole team celebrates, post-race coverage getting ready to go. You're watching Precision Entertainment. Tonight's coverage of the Moonshiners Racing League. We'll see the 16 Cody Nagels make the trip to Victory Design's Victory Lane. He gets it done with the help of chaos and teamwork to bring Redline to victory lane. Take a look at the replay. This causing the last incident of the race on the final lap. Watch for the 7, Jeremy. That was definitely a crowd down. You could see them pushing hard, the red line cars were.
Yeah, Mettler there in the 7 on the outside. Nagel's giving him a bit of a push. And just a bit of a bad push, gets down in the 67. There goes Real, Murray, Matthews, Davis, Rogers, Nigel Christensen. So many involved. There's Cox around, and that left 3 to race it out in the front.
And that caused absolute pandemonium with some of the drivers as they tried to finish out this race. Some decimation for a lot of competitors. We still finished with 11 on the lead lap, but it was for Victory Designs Victory Lane, Cody Nagels, that survived the carnage here tonight. Let's take a look at those unofficial race results. Timothy Harper in second, Corey Moore in third, a Dig 2, 3, 4, 5 in the order. You also throw Coffey and Wilson a part of that list. Matthews in 6th. Chris Davis got back in the lead lap late, finishing 7th tonight. Then 8th went to Kenny Real with Murray and Donaldson, your top 10.
Last car on the lead lap is going to be that 7 of Matt Mettler, who was involved in that last lap crash. There's Aspernoff in 12th. He was fast all night long. Shade and Christensen in 13th and 14th. Bowie, our points leader, not his night. Justin, he finishes 15th. We see Nick King, Darren Mills, Matt Cox, Greg Carr, Sean Rogers all having problems as well tonight, finishing to round out the top 20.
21st goes the way of Mark Sanchez. Really rough race for him. William Owens the same. Barry Sanders finished 5 laps down after late incidents. Catalano 24th. Medina in 25th tonight with Fetter Place in 26th for his decimation. Gallimore finished 4 laps down early on in stage 1. Never recovered. 21 laps down is where he ends. Hunter Carmichael 28th with Jim Treat, Mac Mackin, your top 30. The air drivers, Hochschild finished 78 laps down with Chris Cornett. Chris Vincent also in that mark. And Kyle Holden was involved in the first contact of the race, but did not bring out a caution. So it's time to honor the way north here tonight, here from Talladega Superspeedway. Let's send it out trackside. 3rd spot tonight, Corey Moore is standing by with Zach.
Hey. Yeah, thank you, JP. Corey, obviously finishing P3 here tonight. You were leading, coming to the line there in the white flag. What happened after that wreck? And it's really a 3-horse race there towards the end.
Yeah, I think, first of all, in the green-white checkered, I had 5.5 minutes of damage. I don't know how, but I got the restart of my life on that green-white checkered. I was able to clear bottom. And I guess they started wrecking behind us. We had control of both lanes there. And I think Tim and I were just kind of racing there for the win. And I think Neagles came there with a full head of steam and was able to make a move to the outside, I think. I wasn't able to watch the whole thing back yet. But, yeah, I think it just got with us caught up racing each other right there. Neagles was able to take advantage of it. And we let it slip away. But happy with the P3 finish for sure, especially considering I had 5.5 minutes of damage.
I mean, obviously, with all that damage, able to come home P3, like you talked about, yeah, we'll take that, right? Cody Nagels did go around on the top, on the outside. I did see you come up and block the 45 car, and got a nice shove there going through the tri-oval.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But obviously, a huge job staying in front of Coffee there. But what do you do with the momentum now from the dig camp moving into Texas next week?
Yeah, I think we did a lot of really good work today as a team. I've had a pretty unlucky stretch of races here the last few races, so happy to have a good finish. And it was really nice to have the whole team kind of up there, able to kind of control both lanes, even though it didn't go our way. So I know going into Texas, we've got a really good piece right now that we're running in officials, and I think we'll show up pretty strong here next week.
Yeah, in terms of the setup for next week, you talked about it, right? Running that precision setup right now in officials as you prepare for next week. How do you like the handling of the car? What's the best part about it? Is it long run, short run? What are you trying to really work on this next week heading into that race?
Yeah, I think next week, Texas is a funky track, two very different corners. The car, I think it's good in both short and long run, but I think it really is a bit better on the long run than relative to the competition. At Texas, you kind of have to give up. The both ends of the track are so different. You've got to kind of compromise somewhere. It's usually going to be off of the exit of 2. You got to fight loose for a little bit there because you just got to have speed through 3 and 4 because it's more or less wide open when you're really pushing it. And if you're not able to do that through there, you'll get past. So no, the car's really good next week for Texas, and I think on the long run it'll really shine.
Anyone you want to shout out tonight for the P3 finish?
Absolutely. Thanks to everybody at Precision Speed Solutions, and Alex Murray puts together great setups for us. You guys can go check us out at precisionsetups.gg. Got to thank friends and family for watching. Pay RVA. Usually they're on the car. And then all the teammates over at Dig. We worked really well together this race. And thank you to the broadcast team. You guys do an amazing job every single week. Thank you to Barry for putting on the league. It's a great league to be in. And that's about it.
Well, Corey, we appreciate the shout out. We're going to send it back up to the booth. Corey Moore, number 19 car, finishes P3 tonight from Dega.
Adios.
Corey Moore coming away with the third spot tonight. Second went to Timothy Harper. He's with Jeremy.
Tim, looked like everything went right for you there until it just didn't at the last moment. Did you just kind of lose track of Nagels and the mirror racing to 19? And what could you have done differently to try to keep the 16 from taking the lead there off of turn 4?
Yeah, I should have threw a block. I didn't realize he was coming. I was trying to side draft Corey in the 19 and I just lost track of him. But yeah, if I'd saw him, I'd try to throw a block and I was hoping to get a run had Johnny coming up and Corey blocked him. I think if Johnny could have got to me, he could have given me a good bump and maybe would have had a shot to pass Cody back. But yeah, just needed some help.
Yeah, definitely would have been nice to have a car behind you. I will say, though, just looking at it, I do think if you get up there and side draft the 16, you might be able to drag race 3 wide with you and Moore, but, it's just a tough spot there. Obviously, you don't want to race your teammate too hard and cost both of you, and just Nagels got the best of it. Almost turned him there. Was that just you trying to get that side draft late, or were you just trying to push him and try to clear him and then jump back out behind him?
I was trying to get in behind him and get his draft and try to get a run because, the finish line's at the end of the front stretch, so I was trying to get a run as quick as I could to try to do something with it, and he just wasn't clear yet. But no, I wasn't trying to side draft, and I was just trying to get behind him again.
We did see you involved in quite a few incidents tonight, Tim, and you just kept bouncing back. I think more than anybody all night. So I think to come up with a P2 is still pretty strong. But what were you able to do to work your way back through the field that many times after all the issues that you got caught up in with other cars?
We just had a good pit stop strategy. We got down there together, the team, and come out good, and everybody was lined up, just pushing as hard as we could, and we worked well together, and had the pace up front at that end of that long run, and I think I got shuffled back, going to the outside, and then restarted up there at the front, and just tried to stay up there, and it kind of worked out.
it was definitely a strong showing for you. And you mentioned the good strategy of your team. Obviously, they help you get it done on the 23, but who all is it that gets that 23 out there every week for these events?
Precision. They do a lot of good work. Alex Murray does a lot of good work. Corey's been helping out pretty good with the sets now, and he's doing a great job. And PRVA, they're on the car tonight, and Shamrock Auto Care, Dig, everybody at Dig, they come in and practice every week, try to get these cars as fast as we can. I think we got a good piece going into Texas long run speed anyway. I can't get the short run speed down there, but I know some of my teammates can, and I've found that I've got good long run speed, but I just got to figure out that short run speed without giving away that long run speed, and I think we'll be pretty good there.
Well, I'm sure you'll figure it out, Tim. You always seem to, and congrats on another good finish. We'll look forward to seeing you in victory lane sometime soon. All right, buddy?
Appreciate it.
That was Tim Harper in the 23, but I think Justin has our winner.
Yes, indeed. From Victory Designs Victory Lane, Cody Nichols comes away with the race win here tonight. Cody, you're able to come away with the win. You were one of the favorites tonight because your experience obviously on super speedways. And Cody, you get it done tonight. Talk us through that final run.
Oh boy. I had heavy damage for most of the race, got involved in a early wreck, and I'd been doing quite a bit of testing, and I felt like I brought a rocket to the track tonight, but it didn't show because there was just too much damage. And those couple late cautions really kind of bailed me out because I was sitting P4 with over three minutes unrepaired still. I could have got a decent finish, but I definitely didn't have anything for the win. But the late cautions allowed me to take 4 tires, and I was able to get all of the damage repaired. We were lined up as a team really well, but it looked like Matt Metler just got a little bit. He looked like on corner exit, he floated up about a half car length, which I can't see. I could see him floating up, but I can't see where Kenny is at in respect to where Matt's at. So when Matt floats up, I'm already getting pushed into by Trevor. And when I hit Matt, it hit him into Kenny, and he was already offset from corner exit. It's an unfortunate way to finish the race, but I felt like our team had pretty good run tonight. We won both stages and won the race. Kind of got a little lucky that the seas parted there at the end, but I knew I had a chance. If I was sitting inside the top 10 with a clean car, anyone can win. It's a super speedway. Sometimes it's just better to be lucky than good, and I think I was in the right place at the right time there at the last restart.
Yes, and obviously we talked about your experience in super speedways. Definitely going to come into play as well. How about the entire team seem to be dialed into tonight in turn? How do you describe your experiences here in Moonshiners now with the chance to shine on a super speed, but also try to pick up the skill set of the speedways?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. There's a lot of good drivers in here. When I started doing this, I heard obviously some chirping about, that, he's not going to be able to save tires, not going to be able to get good finishes. But here I am 5 weeks in, and my worst finish is 14th. So I think I've proven that point wrong. And I'm getting better by the week. Unfortunately, our ball field, like my ball field back home, isn't ready, and we're supposed to play on Tuesday. So we have to switch to Wednesday nights, and I have to bow out at least every week thing. But I will be able to be around periodically, and I will be able to get full time again once the season ends. So I will be taking a little bit of a break. I will be back, but everyone in here, I've learned a lot so far. I'm learning how to save tire. I'm learning how to carry more speed in entry of the corner. I feel like the exits have been my bugaboo, trying to get gripped up a little bit sooner, because it just seems like, I don't know if it's like lack of set, but I just can't get grip at the same place that the front runners are getting grip. But I'm learning it slowly. I really haven't had much for sets, at least the first couple weeks, but I was able to get some good setups the prior couple weeks, and I think it showed a little bit more. But it's tough. It's tough. These teams are fast. They work on this stuff a lot. I do, not only super speedway stuff, but mainly just fixed setup. But this is a challenge to me. I'm up for it. Everyone in here, I feel like, is going to do a really good job to help, take me to the next level on iRacing. We'll see, but it's a very good league. Like I said, a lot of fast drivers in here, and excuse me. Unfortunately tonight, a lot of them just got wrecked, and it's a product of super speedway racing, and myself included. I was wrecked for a majority of the race. So like I said, it's just better to be lucky than good sometimes, and you can run the best race possible and get wrecked out. You can run a terrible race and be at the right place at the right time at the end and get a win. I've seen both happen. So you take the good finish and you move on and you prepare for the next one.
So with that being said here, when will be the next time we'll see you here on the racetrack? And
I live in Missouri. There's a lot of rain,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't surprise me within the next 2 to 3 weeks, because we were rained out tonight, actually. I didn't know if I was even going to be able to run tonight, but we got rained out, so I was like, sweet. So at least through the springtime, I'd say you'll probably see me quite a bit. Once the dry spell in the summer hits, you probably won't see me again until, fall time. But once the softball season ends, I'm going back to Tuesday, I think, for fall ball. So this is just a temporary thing. I will definitely be back once the season ends. I'll probably end up missing I'd say 8 or 9 weeks in total.
anybody want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Been doing testing last couple days. I want to give a big shout out to, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. Can't forget that. Everyone at Moonshiners for putting this fantastic league on. I've had had a lot of fun. But I got to give a shout out to Malik Ray and my Money Racing teammate Daniel Falkingham for coming in last night and helping me try to test some different sets and see what I got, what I wanted to take to the track tonight. Everyone at Nightmare Esports and Redline Racing for, getting in, running multiple practices and really putting in the work this week. And I think it showed. And I got to give a big shout out to the man that built my setup for today, Jimmy Crow. Anyone that, sticks around the Superspeedway scene, I think kind of knows his history and who he builds sets for. And he is a very, very good set builder. And even though, like I said, the damage didn't show after, the speed didn't show after the first stage when I had to repair damage, but it was a very, very good piece he built me today. So always got to give a big shout out to him for supporting me. And the good Lord above. Can't ever forget that.
Congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you.
Cody Nagels coming away from Victory Designs Victory Lane here tonight. Getting the victory here in the Moonshiners Racing League. I'd like to thank everyone for taking part in tonight's post-race coverage here on Precision. Your final thoughts tonight. First, I'll start off with your Jeremy, because Texas is going to be a whole different race.
Yeah, it's a lot of drivers' least favorite racetrack on the schedule. Some drivers love it, though. It's gotten better for sure. It's definitely widened out, becoming more multi-groove, and I think it puts off a fantastic show at this point in its life cycle. But we'll see how that goes next week. We come from a plate track over here, turns 3 and 4 Texas, really high banking, especially on the fresh tires. Drives a little bit like one of these places with that high banking, so we'll see if anybody can find some grip with that. If Cody does show up, he gets some of that Missouri rain he was talking about that he's definitely thankful for tonight. Maybe he can put some of that skill to display on that end of the racetrack if he can figure it out on the other end.
So that might, I want to ask you that opinion here, Zach, your opinions on what we should see in Texas.
I'm one of the drivers that doesn't really like Texas. I'm not good there. I'm happy I'm not in the car next week. I'm happy I'm down on pit road in my usual spot. But, overall, I think the guys talked about it. The P3 finishers, right? They all said it's 2 different ends of a racetrack. You got to give up a little bit coming off of turn 2 to make up in 3 and 4. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I think a lot of these cars, we've already seen it so far in officials, they have really dialed in their setups. So it's going to be who puts in this time over the next week or so, who really fines-tune the setup that's already out there from their given camp, right? And who brings the best equipment to the racetrack down in Texas.
On that note, it's time to say goodbye for tonight's coverage. I'd like to thank you for tuning in for this evening's coverage of the Moonshiners Racing League, all part of the GMD Janitorial Cup Series. I thank as well everyone in the booth. That includes Zach Case on pit road, Jeremy Miller, my co-announcer Ryan Bauer, our producer, cameras provided by Whiplash SimCams here for tonight's festivities. But that is just about it for the Icon Apparel 300. When it comes to Talladega, we've seen the wildness spark up. And tonight, the driver known for winning in the big races gets it done here in Moonshiners. It's Cody Nagels who gets the job done tonight. Thank you so much for watching tonight. We'll see you next time from Texas.
in the neon light, trading pain in the heart of the fight. Shifting gears till the edge feels right. Start 'em up, hear the engines cry. Let the thunder roll, leave no doubt. All or nothing when the checkers come out. Doors beating doors in an all-out fight. This is a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Wednesday night! Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Every track has a story to tell. Every wall has been one driver's hell. Back in the saddle we go. Ring the bell like a moonshiner. We're riding on rails. Checkers on record. Send it in, set sail. Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. This is 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 a Moonshiners Wednesday night.